The world is full of podcasts.
Magic is waiting in weekly episodes.
And monsters might be danger or a friend in a fight.
But if you're looking for a good crossover,
the adventures are just getting started.
Are you ready to meet some new friends along the way?
This is the Storyteller Squad Expanded Universe. Hello, adventurers. Welcome back to the Storyteller Squad. Thanks for joining us for another episode of our Expanded Universe series. I'm joined today by our lovely guests from Nameless Monsters. Before we begin, let's check in with our heroes.
I'm Lester. I play Jared the Monstrous. I use he, him pronouns. Jared uses they, them.
Hi, I'm Dennis. I'm going to be playing Vernon T. Snodgrass, the veteran. Pronouns he, him.
Hi, I'm Heather. I'm going to be playing Olivia Jackson, the wronged. I use she, her. Olivia uses she, they.
And I'm Nate. I'm going to be playing Malcolm Blackwood, the spellslinger, and I use he, him pronouns.
I'm Natalie Fuinia, she, her, and I'll be your keeper of monsters and mysteries. Let's have an adventure. This adventure takes place in Pine Glen, Nova Scotia, a small town not far from Moncton, the closest nearby city. This small town is part of the suburban tourist area, but sort of remote and removed region near the Bay of Fundy, which is a natural formation and bay with a very unique tidal force phenomena that occurs there. And so it is a pretty well-known tourist spot, but also one that you need to be careful of when going to visit, because the tidal forces can rip you under if you are not prepared or are caught unawares as the tides roll in. And unfortunately, people are missing. A group of campers and swimming enthusiasts have gone missing in Pine Glen. Their campsite and belongings found abandoned a few days ago near one of the bay's tourist spots. While local authorities are chalking it up to yet another issue of unprepared or over-enthusiastic aquatic tourism, the local supernatural community has been having whispers go around that this could be the work of the somewhat infamous Lobster Beast. We, however, are going to start at a local candy and soda fountain shop, the Sit and Sip. Vernon, could you describe the exterior of the shop and then also your character as we focus in?
Absolutely. The exterior of the shop is as close as he could get it to kind of that old-fashioned like candy soda shop that you see in like It's a Wonderful Life and that sort of thing. Just pink and white stripes, and you can see the taffy puller from the window.
Ye old.
Yeah, ye oldie candy and soda shop. Lots of stuff on display in the windows, and going in, you can see that one side has a long wooden bar where you can make fountain drinks and sodas and ice cream floats and that sort of thing. And then the back wall is just lined with candy. And Vernon is an extremely old man. He is in his 80s, early 80s, like 83 or so. And he is just the sweetest little thing you've ever seen. Bald head, sort of feathery white hair and a horseshoe around it, charming wrinkled face, deep smile and laugh lines, and he's wearing dark black pants and a white short sleeve shirt with a red and white striped apron over it and a little paper hat, and he's just sort of happily doing his thing, serving drinks and talking to folks.
I want to put him in my pocket.
I want to know, does Vernon keep it toit? Given that you are a veteran.
Vernon would not know what you meant if you asked him that question because he is 83. Yes, he keeps it tight. He is an 80-year-old man who has spent 60 plus years of his life in the most dangerous profession in existence. And whereas in some cases, old age will weaken a person, in this case, it's hardened him. So yes, he is He is old and he's got kind of a hunchback, but like when he moves, you can see like the forearm muscles or like little wire cables, moving and that sort of thing. He is much, much stronger than he would look at first appearance.
Mm. And we maybe see this on display as you cart around a large delivery of just raw chocolate or sugar or something to be put into the back room.
Mm-hmm.
And gosh, you'd think you'd have someone around the shop to help you, but it seems like you're doing a lot of it yourself. But maybe we'll pan to a corner and see a local friend of yours and supposed employee, but they don't seem to be lifting a finger. Jared, could you describe yourself?
Yes, in the corner doing absolutely nothing helpful is Jared. They look to be in their late 40s, early 50s. They have kind of short, graying salt and pepper hair, the like chiseled face to go with it, and they're wearing a soda jockey uniform with the like short white collared shirt and the bow tie, red and white striped vest, little apron, the weird little hat thing. And then they also just have an enormous pair of wings and a flaming sword strapped to their side.
Just, walking around the candy store.
Just hanging out, just chilling.
And what color are the wings right now?
Generally, they're white.
Okay.
Dingy white, though. Like white things that have been through the wash a couple times.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Very good distinction. Yeah, let's get a little interaction here between Vernon and Jared.
What are you doing over there? This is Dennis asking what Jared is actually doing in the corner. Are you just sort of milling about?
I think Jared's like literally just filing their fingernails like a teen girl working at the mall.
Wow.
Vernon is going to put down the chocolate under the bar, sort of in the storage. Look over at Jared and sigh and sort of shuffle over.
People usually earn their paychecks when they're hired at a business like this. You could do anything really if you wanted to.
Well, I'm taking inventory, I just saw you put a bunch of chocolate under the counter. That's in one inventory. It's a very important job.
Seems like a very sort of loosey-goosey system you've got here. Do you mind coming over here and cleaning some glasses or polishing the bar or just pretending to be busy?
I mean, I think keeping track of where you're putting the chocolate's pretty important. Like, somebody's got to keep track of the numbers, It's, there'd be chaos without, guys like me remembering the numbers and stuff.
Yes.
It's really important. You might not remember where that chocolate is later.
Oh, yeah, of course, yes. Oh, fragile Vernon, yes, keep me straight, good for you.
And I sort of sigh and take inventory of the customers.
It's the end of a workday. You're getting a delivery. It's the last stop on the delivery guy's route. And this is all stuff for you to start working with tomorrow or later in the week. And so fortunately, there aren't a lot of customers right now because it's around dinner time. And most people, if they're out, they're going to be buying dinner in town somewhere, or they've already come by and grabbed their dessert. So you're getting ready really to convert the sit and sip into its secondary purpose in a little while. There's maybe one person waiting nearby the bar, just sort of a nondescript, dark-skinned gentleman with a sort of salt and pepper beard and a little hat on and dark gray suit. And you recognize him as a regular, but he's waiting until the clock turns over a certain time. So as we see you logging this stuff away, I think maybe a friend of yours can arrive to actually help you finish packing away most of the boxes that you need to get put in the back room. So Malcolm, let's describe you as you head over towards the sit and sip after a long day's work. You might, you could just lend a hand. Jared's not going to, so.
Malcolm is a very tired-looking, middle-aged man. Salt and pepper stubble, like scratchy stubble. Black hair with, some streaks of gray in it. And he's wearing a red turtleneck sweater, work pants, and boots. And he's got a beat-up old messenger bag over his shoulder. And he sighs and obviously puts on a smiling face for Vernon.
Yeah, Mitch, the delivery driver, sort of sees you coming and says,
Oh, Malcolm, here, you can take this in for me, can't you? I gotta get the truck back to the warehouse, and, Vernon takes a little while by himself.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
Appreciate it, buddy. And he sort of roughly hands over this like very heavy box of like glass jars and you know.
No problem. Vernon!
Malcolm, let me help you with that.
And what's obviously a load for Malcolm is taken easily by Vernon.
It's troubling for both of you to see that happen.
Vernon sees like this sort of like disappointment on Malcolm's face and goes, oh, my, this is so heavy. Oh, and sort of pretends to stagger off a little bit.
What a sweetheart.
Vernon, you've got to get some help around here. Actual help. You know what I'm saying?
I know. It's just, I can do it on my own if I need to, and I'm already paying one employee and not sure I can afford to pay another one of such high caliber,
He says, raising his voice over at the corner.
Well, just say. Get an apprentice or something? I don't know.
All right, you worry too much.
At least it would be one kid who's not trapped under an evil boss.
Oh, evil is a little strong, don't you think?
Oh, come on. He's a giant asshole.
Well, yeah, of course, but evil and asshole are not necessarily the same thing all the time.
All right. Listen.
You get a text immediately as you're having this conversation from the boss you're referring to, Malcolm. It's this like custom ringtone that as hard as you try, you can't seem to get it off your phone. And it just, starts playing this like sparkly, jazzy music that goes on for way longer than you'd want a ringtone for a text message to be. But it's just like, Mervyn the Magnificent!
Fucking kill me. Just a minute, Vernon.
It's just a text that says, I'm out of milk, get some.
Is there anywhere even open for milk in this sleepy town?
You could borrow some from Vernon if you wanted to, but the grocer's is like a little ways off.
Vernon, you got any milk?
Mervyn the Magnificent! It's just another one that comes through. It says 2%.
Oh, jeez.
2% milk?
I think I have some whole and some skim, but we'll just mix them up and he'll never know the difference.
Malcolm, you feel a bead of sweat trail down the back of your neck as you remember the time that you did this before, and Mervyn, of course, cast Identify on the milk you brought, chewed you out for days afterwards.
What a dick.
Listen, if you're the Magnificent, you can burn those low-level slots.
Natalie, please let me kill this guy in the end. Please. Please. For my own sanity.
It'll be cathartic for everybody.
We'll have to see.
I just need him to be ruined forever.
But about this time, as you're hemming and hawing about whether you need to quickly rush to a 7-Eleven or I guess whatever the Canadian equivalent of that is, a few more patrons start to come into the shop and a little alarm goes off on the counter, Vernon. And you know that it's now the time to sort of shift things over, change the atmosphere a bit here at the Sit and Sip to a more, I don't want to say more adult because adults can like candy, but this is now becoming sort of a lounge space. Do you want to talk about the shift in tone and what changes in the place?
I mean, the candy's still available. Who doesn't love a good caramel chocolate or something? But I think that, the soda fountains get switched out for, a few different, seasonal beers, or like maybe there's a local brewery or something that he partners with. And instead of the open windows with the candy in it and everything, the shades come down so that you don't really see what's going on in there. You don't really see the clientele or exactly what it looks like. The music definitely changes from the sort of stuff you would hear in a candy shop to more of a, I'm going to say there's a jukebox. I wheel out a jukebox just for this shift in atmosphere. I'm going to say that one of the like longer tables, the top comes off of it and converts into like a foosball table or something, just sort of creating more of a, like you said, not necessarily adult, but less child friendly to be sure.
The gentleman who'd been waiting at the counter removes his hat, sits it down, takes out a little, honestly, he's got like a little briefcase, and he reaches inside and pulls out, though it shouldn't fit, an entire typewriter and a few like sheets of paper, and just sort of puts a sheet in. And you can see poking out of his tight curly hair a little pair of goat horns, and his glamour drops, and you see that his lower half becomes that of a satyr as he takes a seat at the bar and writes down an order for something and slides it across to you.
The usual, eh? I'll be right back with it.
And he gives you a light little nod, starts typing away at whatever novel he's currently writing. And as more patrons file in, we see a couple of young elves walk by with their, long ears and shimmering hair with sort of metallic lipstick and eye makeup as they walk in. Olivia, let's get you introduced to the story. You were also headed here. I don't know, whatever typical night you might come down to visit Vernon at the Sit and Sip.
Sure. I think she's just finished up a job somewhere nearby. So she pulls up in her beat-up pickup truck, 1988 Dodge Ram, and slams the door. Got to slam it real hard, otherwise it doesn't catch. And a lean young woman who has obviously been out in the sun far too long with very little protection. A sharp face, like all angles and planes, premature wrinkles around her eyes, wearing a pair of Carhartts that are covered with grass clippings, t-shirt with the logo of a landscaping company, and a plaid shirt, and then a jacket on top of that. As she gets out, she drags an axe out of the front seat and puts it in a gun rack in the cab before she heads in.
It's a good thing it's fall, I'm going to say, canonically. And in Canada, no less.
Listen, we gotta honor the supernatural. Somebody's got to be wearing too many layers.
Mm-hmm. No, it's an immaculate vibe for the Storyteller squad.
But Olivia pushes the door open and kind of scans the room, scowling a little bit. Maybe scowling's not the right word, but frowning at all of the supernatural entities that are in here until she sees Vernon in the back, and then she gives a little smile and sidles up to the bar.
Well, look what the cat dragged in. Olivia.
How you doing, Vernon?
Oh, can't complain. Just another typical night here at the Sit and Chew. Sit and Sip? What's the name of this place? Oh.
This is why you need a guy to take inventory. Can't even remember the name of the shop.
You just go back to filing your nails.
I'm gonna charge the shop for it then. This is sanctioned by the boss.
Oh.
Go polish your sword or whatever you do, Jared.
Oh, baby boy wizard's got opinions.
Does Flame of Death speak aloud, or does it only speak to you, Jared?
I don't know that we ever established that, but I had assumed that it speaks aloud.
Okay.
That is the most chaotic choice.
Yep, it certainly is. Although it's sitting on Jared's hip and not seeming to damage them at all, or the seat that they're sitting on, which is wooden. But as the flames are there and glowing and emitting light, at least, they roar alive. Back it up, pilgrim. You're speaking to a celestial of the higher realms. You better watch your tone there, son.
Look, I made you and I can unmake you.
Don't give my sword lip, all right? Just you go do your baby boy wizard thing. Go get some milk.
Fuck! And I go off to get some milk because I already forgot about it.
Jared, it's not a baby boy wizard. He was a child wizard. There's a difference.
Is it a baby boy, child? It's all the same.
No, that's offensive.
Who is it offending? Babies?
Malcolm.
Oh, but yeah, I'm trying to offend him.
I'm still a wizard. I'm not a baby boy. You don't even have to call me a child wizard. I'm just a wizard.
Sort of an adult boy wizard.
I'm 45, for God's sake. Come on.
Oh, man. I give Olivia a long-suffering smile and then just sort of shuffle off and start handing out drinks and greeting the customers and that sort of thing.
Yeah, more of the usuals come in. A pair of folks pull up on motorcycles, but as they get off and start to walk into the shop, you see their glamour also drops and a pair of centaurs come in. Yeah, they'll come up and greet everyone. One of them who knows you, Vernon, says, hey there, Vern. Hear about the trouble over at the bay?
No? What trouble is that?
Bunch of campers went missing. Sheriff's all in a tizzy about it.
Oh. Well, do they have any, And he leans meaningfully across the bar. Suspects?
The other centaur kind of leans conspiratorially over. Well, nothing official, but, folks are talking about the Lobster Beast again.
Oh, the Lobster Beast. I've been out of the game for a couple of years now, but in all my time, I never encountered such a thing. I'm not saying it's not real or that it can't be there or it's not causing problems, but do you know anything about it?
No, we trust you, Vern. You're the expert around here, so figure we'd let you know.
Well, I'll keep my ear to the ground. Thanks for telling me.
Sure. We'll take 2 of the automails.
You got it.
Man, I could use some lobster right now. And I sit down back at the bar and I get out like some chalk and I start drawing like a circle and some, magic lines and words in it. And then I set the milk in the middle and whip out a wand and...
Are you fast transporting the milk over to Mervin's?
Yeah.
Incredible. Roll use magic.
Oh, fuck.
How's it feel, Nate?
I'm pretty good at this.
I know, I lulled you all into a false sense of security because I don't ask for rolls very often, but if you start doing magic...
I got an 8.
Oh, boy.
Okay, pick your glitch.
I draw immediate unwelcome attention.
Okay, you send the milk away, it vanishes in a puff of blue smoke, and a few minutes go by, and then you start to hear that, like, Mervin the Magnificent! But it's not coming from your phone. It's coming from the door as the sit and sip door swings open in a burst of light and sparks and a couple of doves that turn into party popper streamers. This, like, similarly old in terms of age compared to, like, Vernon. Older guy comes in, huge, thick glasses that sort of hang over a very hooked nose, bald head with like liver spots, draped in an oversized plush dark blue bathrobe with stars all over it, and using like a cane that has those 4 balls at the bottom to like grip things.
Yes.
And a pair of just like brown slippers. Appears Mervin the Magnificent.
Can I slip out the back without him noticing?
You can try. Act under pressure.
Hell yes. I got a 7.
Okay. You can get out, but if you do, it's going to get you even more trouble than you would be if you stay.
I mean, the problem is he's in direct eye line of the door. And so it just... He can't escape this fucking guy. No matter what he does, he can't escape him. And he's got spells, too. He can locate him and all this shit. And so...
Jared is gonna like blow up your spot also immediately. Still prepare you.
Yes. I think Malcolm knows that he's lost already.
Okay. So yeah, Mervin just kind of, in a moment, there's a sharpness behind the eyes, which are magnified through the large glasses. If you picture the guy from the Chess Pixar short, but like mean and angry, and more angular in every way, kind of raises a knobby, long chipped fingernail in your direction and just says, Malcolm, this ain't no 2%.
I don't know why you keep having me do this. I mean, you're obviously capable, right? Look, you're here right now.
Do you think I have time to go to the grocery store when I'm dealing with the mysteries of the cosmos? Seeing beyond the planes of the here and now into the beyond?
We all know you're just watching Wheel of Fortune.
And you can't establish a simple task like picking up milk? You'll never be a cut-rate wizard at this rate, Malcolm.
That's why you're still a baby boy wizard, not a big boy wizard.
The talking eyesore is right.
I will get it for you tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Do you think that's what I said when Vernon and Leon and I stopped the hordes of Malgrish from attacking the town? Do you think tomorrow was good enough when we saved the entire Western Hemisphere from a dragon of the stars?
Those were the days.
Wow.
Okay, fine, I'll get your milk. And I guess I just walk out.
Hop to it! And he just fires a little like sparkler at your feet.
As soon as I'm out of sight of him, I like turn around in his direction, flick my middle fingers.
As soon as Malcolm is out of the soda shop, Jared reaches under the counter where there's like a little fridge and pulls out a jug of 2% milk and was like, Mervyn, I've been taking inventory. I got some for you right here.
You fucking asshole.
Oh my goodness. Mervyn just comes over, strugglingly, like gets up onto a stool so he can like look over the counter because he's so hunched and short at this point. He's like a little goblin man. But he accepts the milk from you, Jared. And he says, "Gee, it wasn't that hard, was it?"
Yeah, really don't know what's up with the youth these days.
He kind of shoots a look over at you, Vernon, and says, "You're lucky to have such an effective helper here, Vernon. I don't know what I did to deserve this horrible apprentice that is Malcolm Blackwood, but
Oh, cut the boy some slack. He tries hard and his heart's in the right place.
I don't know. I just think there's something wrong with him and the rest of the youth."
I'm 45. You hear from like way far away.
I look over at Olivia and sort of give her a wink. I think the youth are doing okay for themselves by and large, honestly.
You are always too sweet for your own good, Vernon. Well, I'll be seeing you. Gotta get back to the cosmos.
Oh, yeah. Enjoy.
See ya, Mervyn.
He just kind of, as he says that, he vanishes in a swirl of purple smoke, and you just hear, "You've been visited by Mervyn the Magnificent."
It's been 40 years. He could update his theme song, honestly.
Honestly, Vernon, I don't know how you ever worked with that asshole.
Well, he's definitely talented and he gets the job done, and sometimes you just have to grin and bear it in life.
I hear ya.
I know you do.
Olivia, it's interesting what those centaurs were saying to you. In fact, I think it might conjure some, I don't know, maybe difficult feelings for you. Where's her head at?
She doesn't like hearing about missing people. It is upsetting. Her parents missing, wound up dead when she was a kid. Her partner is missing. She doesn't like it. She's feeling an urge to go and kick the tires on something.
Malcolm, or does anyone tell Malcolm he doesn't have to go get the milk anymore?
Jared's not going to do it.
Olivia will pull out her phone and text.
Where the fuck did he go?
He went home, I guess.
Okay, I'll be right back. Or be right there.
Malcolm, why don't you read a bad situation?
Oh,
Oh, no.
why am I doing all the roles?
How does it feel?
Turnabout's fair play.
I just made a 7.
Okay.
These have all been close calls.
You're tired. You had a hard day.
Yeah. So, are there any dangers I haven't noticed yet?
Well, yes, but it's not a danger to you. As you're walking back towards the sit and sip, you notice someone kind of limping along the road into town, and they are really clutching at a leg, which looks to be bandaged. Eventually, they take a couple more steps and then collapse, just like sort of into the yard of some house that's on the same road as the sit and sip.
Malcolm looks so tired. And he has now just walked quite a ways. But he walks over to the person.
It's a young lady.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. You can see she's wearing what looks to be a torn, like wetsuit, like a diving suit, or some kind of like full body snorkeling attire. Hair unkempt and messy, and there's, sand on her feet. And yeah, she just looks like she's been walking here quite a while. Her feet are all blistered and cut up from the road.
Oh, God. Hey. I kneel down. Are you conscious?
Weakly so, yeah. She kind of...
Okay, hold on just a second. Is she, like, lacerated or wounded very badly or anything like that? Anything I can see, or she's just...
She does seem to have some kind of wound on her leg, but it has been bandaged very roughly, just with some, like, loose linen scraps of material.
Oh, gosh. Okay. I pick them up and carry them to
Okay.
I'm close by, I think, right? at this point.
Yeah.
Trying very delicately and struggling. So I guess I just bust into the sit and sip.
Through the front door, or do you go through like a back entrance?
I'm not thinking about that. I just want to get her into where she can get some help.
Sure. Okay. Front entrance. You come in. Ding, ding,
Yeah.
ding, ding. Door opens, and Vernon, you see Malcolm returning, not with milk, but with an unconscious person in his arms.
I clear a table or clear the bar
Mhm.
and then set her up on top of it. And I say, somebody call 911.
Jared, bandages and hot water. Olivia, you've got a phone, yeah? Make the call.
And I come over and try to check out and see what's going on with her.
Sure. Do you have a move you want to activate, or just sort of cursory glance?
Just sort of a cursory glance. Vernon was never sort of the medicing type. He caused wounds. He didn't really heal them.
Right.
But once he makes sure that she's at least breathing and, isn't going to bleed out right there on the bar, he at least knows enough to wrap up any kind of open wounds and try to clean them a little bit and that sort of thing while we're waiting on the ambulance to get there.
Yeah. Her wetsuit is torn in certain spots, but no egregious areas where she's hurt, except for on her leg. The bandage that's on there has stopped the bleeding for the most part.
Okay.
It's a very raw and nasty looking gouged tear mark. Mostly, she looks a little pale and kind of cold. She's lost some blood and then was cold on top of it. And like I said, her hair's still kind of wet.
We've got blankets. We've got all that stuff. I do want to see, because I'm thinking about the Lobster Beast thing,
Mhm.
rumor. And I
Yeah.
know that actual real lobsters don't have bladed claws, they crush things.
Right.
So can I, while she's unconscious and can't protest too much, can I check and see if it feels like the leg is broken or if it's just external injuries?
Sure. Why don't you investigate a mystery?
Okay. Oh gosh, I did it again. I made a 0 sharp character and I'm trying to do smart stuff. Why? Why am I like this?
Why are you like this?
I don't know.
Just play a brainy one.
I need to. That's a 5.
5.
I'm surprised Vernon doesn't have any sharp.
Unfortunately, it's hard to tell. It doesn't seem like it's broken. She was walking on it. She's limping on it, but she's walking on it. And Malcolm could tell you that much. But as far as what caused this injury, it's tough to tell. Like you said, you're not a medical person, so you don't have a lot of expertise in wound identification.
After Olivia makes the call, can she try and bring this person about?
Bring her around? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
She kind of stirs and weakly tries to sit up, and she says, "Oh, where am I?
You're all right. You're safe.
Help's coming. You
Oh.
made it out.
My friends. There's. I think it got some of them.
What did?
The horrible lobster man, a massive carapace, all blue and orange, and I barely escaped. But I saw him turn his back, and I made a break for it. But then I had to start swimming. I thought I was gonna go under. The bay is just rough, so rough. But then, a seal showed up and kind of helped me get to the shore. Anybody have any water? I'm so.
Jared pulls out a pristine bottle of mineral water from an entirely different cabinet hidden in the store.
Mm-hmm.
Jared.
All they do is take inventory.
Literally take inventory.
I mean,
Womp womp.
She'll drink from whatever you guys can provide for her. I will say, Vernon, your patrons, the usual supernatural crowd, they're all sort of hushed whispers and, oh my gosh, did you hear the lobster man? Is it real? Oh, maybe she saw something else. No, it can't be the lobster man. He's a myth.
All right, everyone. Settle down. I know this is a little more exciting than we usually like to see here at the Sit and Sip, but we're going to get this sorted out and never any of you mind about it, all right? As you were.
And I'm going to look at the young lady and ask her if she thinks she can move or if it's okay if I pick her up off the bar.
Yeah, could I get down from here and just sit somewhere?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And I help her down and find her a chair.
Yeah, she's kind of shaking, but she'll grab the blanket you can provide for her and keep sipping at the water. She looks like she's kind of still in shock. I think you could all kind of surmise that this is one of the missing people, but if she's been missing for a couple days at this point. Might explain why her leg is bandaged, but then why would her leg be bandaged if she was... Well, anyway, at this point, the sheriff arrives and they come in to take a statement, and she tells everyone, my name's Sarah Bowen. I was here with my husband and our 2 friends, and we were out in the water, and we heard screaming like somebody was in trouble, and we know how bad the bay can get, so we thought, well, maybe somebody got out too far and the current took them, so we started to paddle out and see if we could find anyone. There was this girl, but then when Charles went to go after her, he got sucked under. We thought she'll pop up any second, but then my friend got pulled under, and then I did, and I don't know what happened to Delilah, but anyway, next thing I know, we're in this like dark space, and there's a lot of screaming and yelling, and then and there was a huge white shape. Then the lobster thing showed up and started swinging its huge claws around, and I kind of blacked out, and something hit my leg, and then I woke up, and I was in this really creepy-looking lair or something. I didn't pay much attention. I just wanted to get out of there, get away from that thing. And then, like I said, I made it out to the beach and I ran to the water and just tried to make it back to the coastline. Any word on any of my friends yet? The sheriff says, no, we haven't found anyone yet. We're glad to see you make it back safe. We've alerted the Coast Guard, so if things pop up, we'll be able to update you. And she kind of gets real somber at that news, but yeah, that's what you guys hear.
Well, I have a question for Natalie real quick. So magic and people are familiar with all this stuff being real, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it familiar and commonplace enough that it would not be out of the ordinary for like Vernon or Olivia or like a monster hunter to ask her for information in front of the sheriff?
I think, the only factor that might discourage you from doing that is if in the past you'd had run-ins with the law back when it was a secret that you had to keep.
Right.
And now that it's out in the open, they really don't want people going off and being vigilantes, because that's sort of become an issue of like people thinking that like, oh, magic's real, we've got to go stop the monsters. But in most cases, like 80 to 90% of the time, the monstrous people living around in the country are just living their lives and they're not causing problems.
Right.
So I think if you were going to ask questions, you might want to do it covertly or subtly, or kind of just be around as they're questioning her, sort of pick up any information that they get while she's making her statement. But it's up to you. You could establish that you have a good relationship with the sheriff and ask him if, he wants your help or opinion.
No. I think after like 60 plus years of monster hunting from the shadows, old habits die hard,
Sure.
But I think if there comes a point where they're kind of done, taking her statement, and are trying to figure out maybe what to do with her, I'll just suggest that, one of us can make sure she gets home safe if they want to devote their resources to, looking for other survivors or what have you.
Yeah, I think, because again, she's a tourist, they'd probably like set her up with like a hotel in town or something like that.
I mean, she probably needs to go to the hospital for that disgusting gouge on her leg.
That too. They might just admit her to like an urgent care center or take her up to the city for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yikes.
If they will let us get her to where she needs to go, then that's opportunity for us to ask her some questions a little more pointedly without involving law enforcement.
I can talk to the cops.
Go for it. That sounds like the best plan.
It is the best plan. Jared is probably already chatting up the cops about how they're an amazing angel / celestial.
Of course.
I don't think you're talking to the sheriff. I think Sheriff Phelps has spoken to you in the past, and there's now just a standing order with the local group who's here in town.
Somebody to run interference at all times.
Don't ever let that person address me while I'm on a job. Just engage so I don't have to. So you're talking to some, local patrol officer.
Hey, you guys, you seem pretty busy, We can send Olivia over here to take the young lady to the hospital or whatever. Save you guys a little bit of time.
They look at you and they say, well, that's very... Listen, that's kind of you to offer, but we really we can't let someone in her condition be transported by civilians. We'll be getting an ambulance to come down and take her. I don't know if the fire codes allow for flaming magical weaponry inside a business like this. Is there something you could do about that?
Jared's gonna look into their eyes and then use mental dominion to make them let us take her.
Wow.
There it is.
I was gonna have you roll manipulate someone, but I guess there's no point now.
I got a 5 + 2 is 7, so just barely.
Read me that move again.
When you gaze into a normal human's eyes and exert your will over them, roll + charm. On 10+, hold 3. On a 7 to 9, hold 1. You may spend your hold to give them an order. Regular people will follow your order, whatever it is. Hunters can choose whether they do or not. If they do, they mark experience.
Yeah, all right. So the order is let us take her to the hospital. This officer turns around and sort of interrupts the sheriff as he's like, calling in a dispatch thing or whatever. Sheriff, we can go. They're going to take her to the hospital. And the sheriff kind of gives them like a look like the hell they are. But then to like play into the order, they kind of like raise an eyebrow and like jilt their head back at you, Jared. Like, if we don't, he's going to want to talk to you. And so
A fate worse than death.
and you see the sheriff kind of like eyes the flaming sword and your off-white wings, and it's just like, fine. Make sure she has our contact so she can call in case something happens or she remembers anything. They nod and they say, yeah, of course, we'll get her all the information she needs, and you're going straight to the hospital, right? And I look back at you, Jared.
I'm just giving him a thumbs up, like, yeah, totally.
They nod, and I think the sheriff kind of will come over to you, Vernon. He says, Vern, there's a lot of talk going around town about this Lobster Beast. It's not going to get any better after this.
I don't know that I can disagree with you. Any words of advice or any way we can help?
Well, I've got a pretty simple request, I think. You can help get this young lady to the hospital. I'd appreciate it if that was the sum total of your assistance in this matter. There are laws now, and we gotta stick to them. So,
You know I'm retired from all of that nonsense. That's a young man's game. Don't you worry your little head.
this guy kind of gives a little, like a suspicious, but like a, all right. Well, good evening. Sorry to disturb your community gathering here. And he will leave with the other patrol officer.
Good night.
So I guess you guys are taking this lady to the hospital.
As soon as they're gone, I think Jared's going to put on this kind of like annoyed face and be like, you're welcome.
Yes, thank you so very much. I appreciate all that you do for me.
None of us asked you to do it.
No, he did good. Now, young lady, we're going to get you somewhere where you can get some help and get that nasty wound taken care of. Olivia or Malcolm or who wants to do the honors?
I'll drive. I'm sorry. What's your name, darling?
My name's Sarah.
Sarah. I'm Olivia. My car's not the comfiest, but we'll make it just fine. All right?
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you, sir, for picking me up when I got into town.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even have a car. All I have is this stupid magic carpet, and there's like a carpet square in his bag.
A carpet square?
Just a sample from Lowe's.
Yeah. It's a magic carpet sample.
It's like the kind they get for like kindergartners to sit on.
That's the stupidest thing.
I could just stand on it, and that's it.
Oh, man. I love that.
Yeah. No problem. I just want to help.
Does somebody want to come along and help me talk with Sarah?
Yeah, sure. I'll come.
Vernon, the sheriff asked you to see to it.
That doesn't mean that I had to personally. He's gone, right?
Well, he is gone, but I mean...
I trust Olivia and Malcolm to get it done.
Okay.
Your other option is to leave Jared in charge of the shop.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not doing that.
Or to close early.
I'm not doing that either. This is my livelihood.
Vernon is the only mentor figure in Malcolm's life that does not micromanage him, and it is very refreshing.
Okay. Then the two of you can travel with Sarah and get her to the hospital.
All right. While we're on the way, I assume it's, 20, 30 minutes drive.
Probably, yeah. Pine Glen is like a half-hour drive from Moncton, so...
So while we're along the way, I'll just kind of be, doing a little patter, asking, how you guys decided to come up here, and I'm so sorry this happened to you. And by the way, you said a seal helped you. What might that be about?
She is sitting in the front seat, I would assume, kind of reclined a little bit, and she says, I don't know, it was all kind of blurry, and the sun was in my eyes when I made it into the water. But yeah, I was swimming, and I could feel myself fading. I mean, I swim all the time, but my leg was all messed up still, and I couldn't kick as much as I wanted to. But yeah, this little spotted seal kind of just showed up and kind of kept me afloat. So it helped me get out of the water. It's like one of those, those like nature documentaries they talk about, like strange encounters with like wildlife, that sort of thing.
Yeah, dolphins helping people. Yeah. You're really lucky. That's just all of this. I know you got hurt bad, but you're really lucky.
I don't know if I see it that way yet, but I appreciate it, I guess.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to tell you how to feel. I know it's hard. That's all I'm trying to say.
Why don't you roll manipulate someone here? Not that you are trying to manipulate how she feels, but I think that's a genuine sort of moment of empathy here from Olivia.
And she got an 11.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I think in this like sort of awkwardly quiet, but sort of, moment of trying to create a little conversation to make the time pass, you're able to get across that you do know what it's like to lose people. Sarah might just, I don't know, she's still like wrapped up in the blanket, but I think she kind of just nods and she says, "Thanks, I appreciate it. And it's real nice of you to take me to the hospital and everything. Sorry, I must have ruined your night."
No, not at all. I just be sitting there having a drink is all. Much better to do than sit,
Yeah, I suppose.
So it was you and your husband and a couple friends?
Yeah, Stuart and Lila.
Stuart and Lila.
They're friends of ours from college.
Well, I don't want to get your hopes up or anything like that, but I will tell you that, Malcolm back here, he's pretty with it kind of guy. He's pretty good at this kind of shit.
Malcolm is full on asleep because he gets up at like 4 a.m. and it is pretty much his bedtime because he has to do everything at the shop. Mervyn does nothing, absolutely nothing. I do the entire job.
And it's not like, or it's not that Mervyn doesn't have the time, because he's there the whole time
Yeah.
you are, but he's just nitpicking and like criticizing everything you're doing and like complaining why you aren't doing it, quote unquote, the right way.
And never actually doing it himself.
Correct.
Yeah. So I think there's this nice moment where Olivia's like doing the soft powder and, the beautiful twilight, wild scenery, and then just Malcolm ripping a huge snore in the bench seat in the back.
Yeah.
I know he doesn't seem it, but he's fiercely competent.
The saddest thing in the world, I think, in my mind is the phrase, "the boy wizard with sleep apnea."
No.
Oh man.
Sarah just sort of smirks at the snores. It's the first time you've seen her face bring a little humor back into it. Well, he's kind anyway.
Yeah, that counts for a lot.
We'll let that car sort of speed off into the night. Sun's dipped down and we see the taillights go off towards the city. Jared, I'm going to check in with you because there's all this talk of a lobster man going around, and I feel like that might stir some feelings in our angel, in quotes.
Yeah. Jared keeps a little date book on hand because, as they said, organization is very important. You got to keep your inventory, keep your date book. And they're currently in the corner searching through their date book where they've recorded various meetings because there's something about a lobster monster that kind of sounds familiar. But like,
Yeah.
Jared sees lots of monsters, It could have been a cuttlefish monster. Who knows?
Uh-huh.
And I think Jared reaches a point in the date book like 2 months back, and then the color in his face kind of drains. And then he very hurriedly puts the date book away and kind of glancing around, making sure nobody was watching.
As you're like looking through and you see this date and your finger kind of lands on it, we will do a smooth transition to you sitting at the bar one night as Vernon is closing up the shop. Like it's actually very late in the evening. Sweeps whatever dirt from the floor into the dustpan and throws it away, and then starts to close up shop, takes his hat and coat and leaves. Did we establish you just kind of live here? Like you don't have anywhere else to go, so.
I'm pretty sure we did decide that like Jared just kind of lives here. Like there's either like a room up top or a room in the back that they just kind of nest in.
Yeah. Maybe what it is there's like a front porch, but there's also a back porch that's just like in like a sort of overgrown backyard. You keep saying you're going to mow the lawn, but you never do. And so it's just sort of grassy space with a couple old tires and maybe an old generator in case the power goes out. You're just sitting back there with a little bug zapper. This would have been a couple months sooner, so it's summertime. And this sort of like dark shape calls to you from the shadows of the night as you're sitting there with a book or TikTok or, whatever you do to entertain yourself.
Oh, yeah, just scrolling through.
Hello there, Jared.
Jared looks up from the phone they're attempting to TikTok on, kind of looks around and is like, who is it again? Which one are you?
Don't play dumb with me. Need the supplies again.
You need more Man, what are you even, up to that you need all this shit?
You know the hunt continues, much as you've given it up.
Hey, I'm hunting in my own way, you know? A monster's got a monster. Gotta do my stuff. It's just we have different ways to do it.
Priorities are different, I suppose.
We all gotta live our life, all right? You got your weird little ocean cave. I got my soda shop that I steal from.
I don't got time to argue about our choice of paths, Jared. Give me my things and I'll be out of your feathers.
Man, you're always like this. Things would go a lot better for you if you were, a little more sociable. Jared, kind of keeps pouting and, bitching under their breath. But they do, pull out from under their chair just this sizable, packed up box of supplies that they hand off.
It's mostly medical supplies and some preserved food rations and honestly some arcane components and other materials that Vernon keeps in a very private office at the back room of the shop. And maybe even some things from Mervin's stash as well.
You just bully Malcolm into providing shit for you.
Mervin seems to quite like Jared. It could have just been a gift.
You see sort of this big blue glowing claw reach forward and take the box, is met by a slightly smaller claw and pulls the box from you.
Good luck with whatever it is you're calling a life these days.
Yeah, well, right back at you, buddy. Jeez.
Keep an eye on Vern.
Yeah, Vern can keep an eye on himself.
Ain't that the truth?
And he turns, and this creature slinks away into the night. And we flash back to the present moment as you are sort of having this memory and quickly snapping your date book shut, and maybe sitting up a little straighter than you normally do in the bar stools. I feel like Jared has the uncanny ability to lounge across 2 bar stools without it being awkward.
Oh yeah,
Taking up the maximum amount of space at all times.
It's like angel spreading,
The worst
just taking
kind
up
of
as
spreading.
much space as possible.
Yeah.
We'll pick back up with Malcolm and Olivia getting Sarah Bowen into the emergency room receiving.
As we're unloading her, can I open my third eye and look at her?
Ooh, yeah. What does that move do?
That move is when I read a bad situation, I can open up my third eye for a moment to take in extra information. Take a +1 hold, and I can see invisible things. On a miss, I still get 1 hold, but I'm exposed to supernatural danger. Unfiltered hidden reality is rough on the mind.
Okay. Let's see how you do.
Okay. I got a 6.
Oh boy.
I still get a hold.
Uh-huh. You get a hold, you don't get a vision, and you're exposed to danger?
Well, I get a hold, and I'm exposed to supernatural danger.
Okay. I think you try and open this third eye as you're helping her get into the hospital. And as you tap into this mystical sight, rather than seeing anything about this girl, you get more flashy, almost nightmarish, quick camera cut kind of vision effects that flicker through your mind. You see a sort of ghostly white shape of someone in the water splashing around. You hear this low bellowing roar, and you get horrible screams of several different voices and more ghastly shapes reaching out, glowing white. And you're left with sort of this one long moment of seeing a small girl and a sort of amorphous glowing shape behind her on a beach, both staring out with red eyes. And that sort of just stays with you and flickers, and you get a nosebleed, and you'll take 1 harm, ignore armor.
Can I use my hold here?
Sure.
What's the best way to protect the victims?
Well, you've gotten this woman to a hospital. And right now, your only lead is where she and her friends were staying initially when they disappeared. I will say you can kind of put together that she had said in her initial story that they thought someone was in trouble in the water and went to try and save them. And that's when things started to go poorly for them. And in this vision, you did see someone flailing in the water. Maybe there's something about that which you should be very careful about engaging with. But yeah, you got this horrible headache now, and you kind of have to leave it to Olivia to get her inside. As she's being brought away by the nurses, she turns back to you and she says, "Thanks again so much. And if you or somebody in town could go by and check out our stuff or see if the sheriff has our things, I'd appreciate it."
Of course we will.
She says, "We were staying near Hopewell and the rocks."
Hopewell on the rocks. We definitely traded numbers.
Yeah, and she kind of gestures at her leg as the nurses are like sitting her into a wheelchair. And she says, "I probably won't be going anywhere for a while."
You just heal up. We'll take care of what we can.
And they'll take her away. So Olivia, you can come back to the car.
Malcolm, are you okay? You're bleeding a little bit there.
I wiped some blood from my nose. I'm just tired, is all. It's been a long day.
You got a nosebleed because you're tired?
Yeah, it's stress. It happens.
Okay, whatever. So do we want to try and go out to this Hopewell place tonight? Do we want to go get Vernon and Jared, I guess?
Tonight?
You know that if you go tonight, it won't be until like 11:30 if Vernon's not going to close the shop early.
Yeah. All right. We'll wait till morning. Do you want me to drop you back at your place, or are you taking your carpet?
Yeah, if you don't mind. I appreciate the ride and
Of course.
the company, you know.
Does Malcolm ever lay on the carpet, like plank on it to pretend he's Superman?
Huh?
He used to when he wasn't totally defeated.
Oh, no.
That's so sad.
You made my joke a sad thing.
When he had the core muscles to support that sort of activity.
I imagine that Olivia starts talking about something in the car on the drive back and looks over and Malcolm is asleep again.
I think you're right.
So much for the company.
There is at one point a like muted buzz from his pocket. You don't hear the ringtone because he's turned his phone on to silent, but you do see a little like notification pop up and it just says, "Don't be coming in late again, all hours of the night, waking me up. I can't stand it when you come in past dark."
What a monster. So Olivia will go back to the sit and sip and talk to Vernon.
It's late. It's the end of the night. The satyr who's like writing on his typewriter finally takes a ream out, puts the typewriter back into that briefcase where it shouldn't fit, but it closes snugly and he snaps it closed and just gives you a polite little tilt of the hat. So people are starting to file out.
Yeah. I do think that at some point in the evening after everything had kind of calmed down, Vernon probably told everybody to maybe lay low for the next few days because, you know, people know that they're around now and that if word gets out that there's a monster on the loose, it might not be the safest thing, you know. So they would still be welcome, of course, if they wanted to come, but maybe just take it easy for a few nights.
Mm-hmm. The centaurs who get up to leave give you a nod, and the lady of the two says, "We'll tell the herd maybe to postpone game night, and we'll save up trivia for next week."
Well, if you want to do that, that's fine. We all know you're just trying to avoid another ass kicking.
Oh, that's how it is? That's how it is, Vern? Okay, all right.
Well, all right. You know, all in good fun. Take care of yourselves, and thanks for letting me know, giving me the heads up on everything. I'm sorry I didn't believe you. Turns out I don't know everything after all.
We'll try to be eyes and ears for each other, you know? We appreciate you setting this place up for all of us.
Happy to do it.
Not now.
Have a good night. Yeah.
And they'll head out. You can hear as they like leave the shop the sound of like and their glamour returns as they ride away on their motorcycles and quotes.
I love that. That's very cool.
Olivia will come in and start putting chairs up on tables to get ready to help mop because we know Jared's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
And she will let Vernon know that we made it safe with Sarah, and she reiterated the thing about the seal and seeing somebody flailing, and Malcolm got a nosebleed for some reason, and says, well, I know that you're going to want to open up the soda shop in the morning, but is there any chance you and I and Malcolm maybe can get out to Hopewell? Maybe check out the site?
Oh, well...
I could really use your help on this,
No,
Vernon.
Listen, Olivia, I'm happy to help as much as I can, and I want to be a source of advice and maybe a little motivation from time to time. But what I told the sheriff was true. This is a young man's game. I'm afraid you're on your own this time, and just don't try to change my mind. There's nothing you can say that's gonna get me out there in the morning.
Are you sure?
All right, you convinced me. Fine, I'll close the shop.
And he grins and winks at you.
You're a good man, Vernon.
Oh my gosh. Here I am over here typing to Heather like, hey, this is like close to home for Olivia. You could like really pull in his heartstrings, but didn't need to.
There are the biggest every time he says the word retired, there are gigantic air quotes framing that word.
Yeah.
Thanks, Vernon. This stuff with missing people and all that, it hits hard. You know what I mean?
You know that I do. It's something that there's not many people except for those in this line of work that can understand what this line of work will do to a person. We've got to look out for each other.
Yep, absolutely. All right.
4 a.m.
I'll see you bright and early.
I'm joking. Good God, woman, it's 11:30 now. I'm not in my 60s anymore. What do you think I'm doing?
And then he's like grumbles all the way
Yep.
into the back and like gets his keys in his hat.
I would like to do a quick scene with me and Olivia as she returns to the car. I think when you walk out, Malcolm is awake and staring at the door to the sit and sip, just not at the door. He's just kind of in that direction, but he's staring off into nowhere. You get in the car, and in his lap is a notebook, and he's holding a pen, and it looks like he was writing down like his schedule for the next day because everything just got shifted around. And so he's like trying to reorder everything. And as you get in the car, as if he was privy to this conversation, but he wasn't, I think he says, because he knows what's on your mind about this. Because it's on his mind too. And he says, we'll find what did this. We'll find them.
Yeah. Gonna find it and kick the shit out of it.
Hell yes. And he just keeps writing.
Can I help you with any of that? I mean, I'm not good at any of the magic stuff, but...
Well, I mean, that's what most of it is. It's kind of my job.
I can go and fetch milk for this asshole.
I don't want you to have to do that. If I can spare somebody else having to put up with him, then I'll take one for the team, I guess.
You don't... Never mind. It's your business.
Yeah.
I forgot, because I'm not used to having beginning of mystery moves. I have premonitions, which I figure we can kind of fudge it, since I'm going home. And
I love fudging rules. It's like my favorite thing to do.
we love to fudge.
Yeah.
Everybody loves fudge.
Premonition. You're having a premonition now, or when you go to bed tonight.
So I'll roll. So just for the audience at home, at the start of each mystery, roll plus weird. On a 10+, you get a detailed vision of something bad that is yet to happen. You take +1 forward to prevent it coming true, and mark experience if you stop it. On a 7 to 9, you get clouded images of something bad that is yet to happen. Mark experience if you stop it. On a miss, which is what I got, you get a vision of something bad happening to you, and the keeper holds 3 to be spent 1 for 1 as penalties to rolls you make. So you get to hold 3 and make terrible things happen to me because I rolled a 3.
Fantastic.
My gift to you.
I appreciate it. I'll treasure it always until I inflict it upon you. The nightmare you have as part of this fail or miss on a 6 or lower, maybe it's just on your mind because of what's going on in town and, the time you spent talking to Sarah. But that night you dream of Lizzie, what's like a scene, like a memory between the two of you that you might be dreaming about initially, and then I'll turn it sour.
We went on a beach vacation. We, spent the day setting up our tent and went rafting or kayaking, I guess, and built a campfire. And it was just the most perfect, wonderful day filled with laughter and food and sunshine and her beautiful face.
Yeah. She'll get up as you remember her doing and is sort of looking up at the sky in the light of the campfire. But when she turns around, rather than just turning with like her friendly freckled smile to say, I love you, she says, I had to leave because of you. And her eyes go dark black and tears stream down her face. And a wave comes forward, crashes around her, swallows her, and then starts to sweep in and pull you under the water's surface as well. And as you reach towards the light of the moon above and gasp for breath, you bolt up in bed.
I think she retches a little bit, just dry heaves, and moves her pillows back and gets her phone out to turn on some animated children's movie, something peaceful with no conflict that can take the place of her brain for the next few hours.
It's early in the morning. You guys make it out to Hopewell Rocks, which if you look up images of Bay of Fundy, it's the place. It's the place with the sandstone rocks that have been eroded by the tide coming in all the time. They've got the trees and little tufts of greenery and growth on the top of them.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the tide is receding. It was in and now it's pulling away. So the beach is being revealed as opposed to swallowed by this very quick tidal surge. And you do see some caution tape marking off an area that is a campsite of these people who disappeared by unknown means. And yeah, you're free to look around and investigate.
Jared's gonna search around for any traces to confirm that the lobster man is around here. Because if there aren't, they are going to delude themselves into believing that they did not have anything to do with this.
Sure. Why don't you investigate a mystery?
I got -1 sharp. Let's see what happens.
Woo!
Oh, God.
I rolled a 1 and a 6. With a -1 is a 6.
Oof.
Okay. I get to ask a question. I think I'm going to ask just generally that the answer to what is being concealed here be answered in the scene that will unfold. And what I mean by that is I need Jared to unwittingly admit to having met the lobster man while you are looking around this campsite to your friends here. That secret is going to be revealed to the group you're with.
Ooh. All right. Jared is just kind of pathetically shifting through the sand. Jared doesn't really know what they're looking for. I think they're ultimately searching for lobsters, thinking if they find a lobster, that'll somehow prove something.
Sure.
And so Jared's going to call out to Malcolm because Malcolm seems the easiest to bully. Hey, Malcolm, come over here and help me look for some shellfish.
Oh, come on. And I hand off coffees to Vernon and Olivia. I have one for myself. I do not bring one to Jared.
You do have to teleport one to Mervyn.
Oh, man.
Do you want me to roll use magic for that?
Sure.
Okay. I got a 10.
Okay.
I'm actually quite competent. I want that to be known.
Yes.
I'm very, very good wizard.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think that I'm that good.
Right. And in typical Mervyn fashion, even though you remembered and you sent the coffee off, he responds with some sort of horrible gaslighting text message. I can't believe you forgot that I drink soy milk on Fridays, or some made up thing that just,
I silently wish for his death.
So you're looking around together with Jared then?
Yes, and Jared's gonna kind of start talking to Malcolm and be like, Malcolm, you help out a shitty guy a bunch, right? do you feel like helping out Mervin, even though he's a shitty guy, makes you a shitty guy? Like we all occasionally help out a shitty guy, right?
It's not, he doesn't do very shitty things. He is just an asshole. You do know that I do all the work there, right?
I mean, you fix air conditionings. You've never fixed an air conditioning for the mob?
What? No. What are you getting at, Jared?
Okay. Hypothetical situation, all right? Pretend you're a little monster guy, okay? And maybe there's another monster guy. And that monster guy asks you for help. And then that monster guy does some not so good monster guy stuff. You're like in the clear, right? You don't have to feel bad, right? And it's not going to weigh on your conscience just because you may or may not have given a bad monster guy the supplies to do his bad monster guy things.
Jared, did you give the bad monster lobster supplies?
This is a hypothetical situation that we're talking about. This is about a hypothetical friend of mine. It is not about me.
Jared, I know you're very good at lying to people, but I've known you for a long time, and you're full of it. What did you do?
I just gave him some stuff.
Who?
It's the guy. It's the hypothetical lobster man that doesn't exist.
Why didn't you tell us this yesterday?
Well, if another baby boy wizard came to you in desperation, just because you're living a shitty baby boy wizard life and your baby boy wizard life is like kind of okay, wouldn't you feel like you gotta help him a little bit?
Yes. I mean...
So I shouldn't feel bad.
But the baby wizard guy isn't a hungry monster.
You don't know that. You can't just say someone isn't a hungry monster because they happen to be a baby boy wizard instead of a hungry monster.
Yeah, I understand. Okay.
Like that, there's tons of psychopaths out there.
Listen, my friend, I understand.
We're not friends. Don't get cute.
Oh, Jesus.
I need to point out that you were part of the original monster hunting crew for like 40 years together.
Yeah, I know.
So to be told at 45, we're not friends.
This is as good as it gets with the two of them.
Look, Jared has his pride.
Yeah.
They can't admit to being friends with a baby boy wizard who is still a baby boy wizard at the age 45.
No, I get it. You met Malcolm when he was like 5 years old and was a boy wizard, and you just feel like you can't like cross that threshold because of when you met them.
Right. It would be creepy because Jared still looked 50
Right.
when our baby boy wizard was a baby boy.
Jesus Christ.
And so it would just be creepy to cross that line, you know? It's an age gap thing.
Right.
Jared's being a responsible adult. They're setting boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta do that with children.
Jared, I understand your desire to help them. I mean, that's what we have been doing for the past 2 years. But, Vernon.
Huh?
Don't call Vernon over here. He's gonna be disappointed in me.
Olivia.
Yeah.
I don't care about Olivia's opinion.
Jared has something they want to tell us. Jared, what exactly happened?
A couple months ago, a friend of mine might have given some, medical and food supplies to another friend. He's not my friend. A friend of my friend who happens to be a crazed lobster monster who did talk a lot about the hunt when my friend, not me, gave them those supplies.
Your friend, huh?
Okay. I'm not angry. I'm just, well, I won't say it. You know where I'm going with this, Jared.
Aww.
I'm angry. She is like flexing the grip on this giant axe that's like 2/3 of her size with a head that is as broad as her shoulders.
Olivia, you're just still mad about that time I maybe accidentally sent you to your death because I wasn't paying attention to the things I said to you.
Yeah, I'm still real damn mad about that, Jared.
You gotta let bygones be bygones, you know?
What the hell is wrong with you?
Just a lot of things. Okay, that's obvious.
Well, I suggest you get them frickin' figured out.
Okay, I have a therapist.
Where the hell is your friend, huh?
I didn't say we were like friend. I said that he was a friend
All
of a
right,
friend.
all right. Let's take a breath. Let's take a breath here. all of this can be discussed when there's not a lobster beast on the loose who is hunting and possibly killing people that one of us may or may not, but probably definitely may have helped and should have told us about.
Well, you guys would have gotten mad.
Well, we're still okay.
And a couple months ago, it didn't seem like he was going to start, eating people.
Vernon is right. Where did you meet the lobster guy?
At the sit and sip. I get a lot of monster guys. They come to the back porch.
This is definitely going to come up in your next performance review. I just want you to know. All right, focus. Do you know where he is?
He's in this general area. I don't know anything more specific because he came to me. I didn't come to him.
So you're not even a helpful trader, is what you're saying?
No. Me and the lobster are both monsters. If anything, I'm tradering the monster people to help you guys. You're all just a bunch of normal fucking humans.
Well, look, it's finally something we agree on.
That you're a normie?
That you're a traitor!
Oh.
Olivia is going to storm off and try and find something.
Sure.
I think that Sarah was saying that when she escaped, she couldn't see because the sun was shining into her eyes, right? And we know that she showed up at the sit and sip just after dark, I believe. So that means that whatever cave or lair she escaped from was facing west, right?
Yes.
Okay, Jared, do you want to be useful?
Yes.
I don't know that it's entirely safe for us to be in the water with a lobster beast on the loose, but you've got those handy-dandy wings there. So do you mind flying out a little ways and just sort of going up and down the coast looking for openings into any sort of rocky outcroppings or anything that face west?
I'll take it for a spin. I'm bad at finding things. Just to prepare you for the disappointment that you will probably feel.
Oh, right. This is because mechanically I'm making him roll investigate a mystery probably, and Jared has a -1.
Yeah.
It's fine. I love it.
Okay, so yeah, Jared's going to take flight and investigate a mystery.
Okay.
After Vernon mentions the getting in the water, Malcolm just starts staring out into the water, remembering his vision from the night before and how utterly terrifying that is to be out in the middle of water and pulled under. And as Jared goes to leave, Malcolm reaches out and grabs Jared's arm, and he says, Jared, I need you to take me very seriously. Please, 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 no matter what you see or hear, do not go into the water.
I am a flying creature. Water is bad for feathers. I am not a duck man. I am an angel. Was not planning on it.
Okay. I just know how impulsive you can be. I'm sure it'll be fine. And I let go.
Was that considered a help out?
It could be a help out, sure.
Does that give me a +1 on my investigate a mystery roll?
Yeah, I'll let you have that.
Oh, hell yeah, because I rolled a 7 with my -1, which would have been a 6. But now it's back to a 7.
Oh, boy. Okay. Yeah, go ahead and ask your question then.
Vernon wanted me to find an opening, right?
Mm-hmm. A cave or something on the coast.
Do you think where did it go or what is being concealed here would be better?
I think either of those works.
I think where did it go is a much more direct question and cannot be fudged as much. We don't know what Natalie's gonna do to us.
Yeah, but I don't know that Natalie is as mean as you are.
That's
facts.
I think I'll go with where did it go?
We'll pick up with the answer to that in a little bit because I want to, as long as we're splitting the party, I just want to know what Vernon and Malcolm are up to here at the shoreline near the campsite.
So, Olivia tells me there was a nosebleed situation last night. Everything okay?
Yeah, Vernon, just stress.
You're pretty good at what you do. You know that, right?
Thanks, Vernon.
Well, I'm just saying, regardless of what certain other people may or may not think about you, it seems like you're a hard-working young man and gotten me out of a scrape or two in our day together. And I just, there comes a point where we sort of have to draw a line about how much we're willing to take. That's all I'm saying.
Malcolm just kind of looks down at the sand, it's more gravel.
Mm-hmm. It's a pretty rocky beach.
And he just kind of nudges a rock with his foot, just kind of barely scoots it a little bit. Yeah, I know. Anyway, about these kids, do you want to check around here for something? Maybe some caves, or I don't know.
Well, whatever it is going to be offshore because she had to swim, so any caves that we're looking for, you and I couldn't get to anyway, so I think at this point it's just waiting for Jared to get back and waiting for Olivia to find her cool. She's a fiery one, isn't she? I know she's young, but I think she's going to do okay.
Yeah, I think so too.
Just if you ever need anything that I can help with, you just let me know.
Yeah, you know I will, Vernon. Same to you. Puts his hand on Vernon's shoulder and claps him there a little bit. Thanks. I'll think about what you said.
You hurt your hand because Vernon's made of iron.
Oh my gosh. Ow, fuck.
He's just that like old man bony.
Yeah, sure.
An elbow strike would be devastating. Let's pick up with Olivia as you try and find your cool here along the beach.
Trying to find something else. Trying to find creature tracks. Literally anything.
Do you want to read a bad situation?
Sure. Hey, that's a 10. Any dangers I haven't noticed?
You see, because you're along the shoreline, sort of looking for anything that the tide wouldn't have washed away. There's not a lot of hope for that, considering how strong the tidal forces are here.
Yeah.
But as you climb over a larger bunch of rocks that sort of are tumbling down from an eroded cliffside, you spy a little spotted seal out on a rock protruding in the water.
Oh.
And it kind of turns once it hears you climbing over the rocks and looks at you curiously.
Don't move. Just hold still and watch it for a second.
Scoots itself over on its little front flippers and again gives you this like little quizzical look.
Heather and Olivia are warring right now. I love a little baby seal.
It kind of like scoots itself forward and into the water, disappears for a little bit.
Oh my god.
And then you see its head pop up a little closer to you on the shore.
I'll clamber down and go stand on the shoreline.
It dips under the water again, and what dips up very briefly, you swear it's not a seal's face. But then waves crashes over, and it's a seal again. You thought you saw a person there in the water for a second.
Olivia, involuntarily takes 2 steps backward, gets that axe ready.
If you brandish the axe, the seal quickly darts under the water, and you see it's kicking its flippers, starting to swim away from you.
Okay. What's the best way to protect the victims? Or perhaps the potential victims?
I think you see this seal sort of swim out, climbs up onto the beach of an island that's a little ways offshore. You're sort of watching it there as it sort of comes out of the water. And then it stands up on a pair of human legs, and you see thin arms draped down from where the flippers might be. And whatever this is runs up into the woods on this island offshore a bit.
Unexpected.
Didn't the seal help?
Yes.
It did.
Yeah, okay.
So protect the victims. I mean, I don't know. There's no danger right now. You just have seen a very curious thing happen that seems tied to what happened to the victims that were here.
Can I hold my last one?
And save it?
Yeah, I want to rejoin Vernon and Malcolm.
Yeah, you can run back to them and tell them what you saw.
Yeah.
Jared.
Yes.
You're flying up and down the coast, looking for caves. Your question, where did it go? You don't see a lot of caves or natural structures that someone might want to make a home in if they were sort of
Lobster man.
Lobster-based personoid. So you're kind of just a little bit, not bored, but I guess you're not coming up with anything, and you didn't think you would be, but it would have been nice to surprise everyone with a moment of competence. What you do find is a bit of another person's swimming gear, the kind of outfit that Sarah was wearing.
Oh.
And it's washed ashore a ways down from where the campsite was and where they'd been staying. And unfortunately, it has been torn in half at the midsection, and there seems to be a lot of blood all over it.
Ooh, that's no good.
That's all the evidence you find while you're here. So Where did it go? It doesn't look like it's on the coast because there's nowhere for it to be hiding unless it buries itself, in the sand or it's just like hiding in some tide pool somewhere.
Do lobsters do that?
Sometimes. Lobsters actually do like caves, but usually it's underwater caves.
Uh-huh. All right, I guess I fly back to share the not amazing news.
Lester, bring me some of that blood.
Can I go grab the
You can take it with you if you want.
Please.
Yeah, can I just take it with me and I'll have Malcolm sniff it like a bloodhound apparently?
Sure.
That's not how I wanted to work it, but okay.
So I'm gonna grab the swimsuit gingerly because blood's kind of gross. And I'll fly back to the rest of the guys to share my non-findings.
So your group reunites.
Jared, how did you know I was going to need this? Thank you so much.
Whoa, you're so welcome.
This is perfect.
We're not besties, but we have the coordinating brainwaves of besties.
Colleagues.
Colleagues, yeah.
Yes.
The kind of relationship only a baby boy wizard and his weird old adult friend can have.
Can I use this blood to do a divination ritual?
I guess, yeah, sure. What are you trying to do here?
I'm going to take the blood and I'm going to... I flip over the magic carpet square and it's like...
DuPont's floor and carpeting.
Yeah. It's really dusty because I've done this before. It's got chalk on it where I've drawn magic circles and written magic words and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I draw a circle and then I write some words into it. I will take a clipping of the suit, clipping with some of the blood on it, and then put it in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to view another time or place with use magic.
Okay.
Specifically another place, which would be where this person is. If that's okay?
Yeah.
Cool. Here we go. Come on. Big money, no whammies. Here. 10.
Nice.
Okay. The little bit of ripped material that you snip away and place in this circle just hovers sort of above the carpet square for a moment, and it catches fire with a white flame. And your eyes roll back and are completely white as you have this vision. Now, this is a pretty standard divination sort of, find a victim if they're still around and in trouble kind of spell that you would cast, Malcolm. But it's odd because you're getting mixed signals through the connection this magic forges. This person is definitely dead, but they're not gone either, because you do get a vision of a very dark color with small little flecks of light that you can't figure out what they are at first until you realize they're small bubbles and sand being kicked up and glints of light catching on swamp grass and kelp at the bottom of a lake. And there's just this soft white glow kind of moving through this dark area. You get a glimpse of another person wearing that swimsuit thing, the wetsuit style clothing. And as the white glow of whatever sight you're having looks down, you see the corpse of one of these tourists, their face sunken in, their eyes fully just fallen back into dark, cavernous holes, and a terrified rictus on their face as they just sort of drift there in the water amongst the kelp. They are illuminated briefly by this white glow, which then vanishes as it moves further into the dark waters. And you come back to it.
Okay, that was enlightening. They didn't look like they had been crushed or anything like that? They looked just totally sallow and sunken and
I'll give you this detail because you rolled a 10. They were missing a leg. A leg had just been totally ripped away, and there's sort of a chunk taken out of their shoulder. By what you're not able to tell because it was, again, very dark, but they weren't intact.
I know why you couldn't find them on the shore. They're underwater.
Ugh, man, I don't want to go underwater.
I don't want to go underwater either.
May I use my last hold? What's the best way in?
I mean, the best way into the water is to walk into the water. But the best way to like actually know what's going on underwater.
Right.
You just had an encounter with an aquatic, mysterious, supernatural being on the beach, Olivia. And you know that they went off to the island, which if you either magically crossed the water or got a boat and drove yourself out there, you could get to that island.
Yeah, and I've shared that information and suggest that we go rent some kayaks, maybe. They've got to have a little stand around here somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And those that can fly can fly.
Yeah, I'll just take the carpet.
Must be nice.
Is that okay, Natalie? I don't mean to...
That you take the carpet over? No, I don't care. No, I think it's hilarious. I love it.
Okay, cool.
It's like the most depressing magic item for an HVAC wizard to have.
I was just thinking like the cheapest shit possible that Marvin would allow me to keep.
I just have mental images of a sad, middle-aged, overweight man on like a child's hoverboard, just like leaning forward slightly and scooting.
Yeah, that's the thing. You've had this magic carpet for a long time, and when you were smaller, it was the perfect size. You've had this ratty square of carpet for years at this point.
It's my blankie.
Olivia will go rent a 2-seater for her and Vernon.
Yeah, you guys can easily enough make your way over to the kayak stand. It'll take you a while, right? So it's maybe starting to get like, you're moving closer to lunchtime at this point. You know, the day is passing as you guys are flying around, investigating and interacting with seals. But you make it to this island. Easily enough, you do notice that there's like some trash around. So it's not like this place is like untouched by humans or human presence. Just old cans tossed about and what look like maybe campfires on the beach in certain spots. What's your approach here?
You've had first contact. Take the lead.
Well, I didn't really have contact, and I feel like it's a she. She spooked when I brought out my axe.
That seems reasonable, all things considered.
She ran off that way, and I kind of indicate where I saw her go into the woods. I guess openness, kindness, leading with our hearts. I don't know.
So you're going to lead the group into the woods then, Olivia?
I guess I am.
Vernon close behind her, watchful eye, seeing how she does, all that good stuff.
Vernon, did you take anything with you? Are you like geared up as well? Or?
Oh, yeah. I've got 38 tucked into my belt, and I've got Margaret is slung across my body on a strap. Margaret is my automatic combat shotgun that I named after my dearly departed wife.
Aww.
Because, much like her, if she decided she got her dander up and got a little loud, things tended to break. So it seemed fitting. Sweet lady, but...
Oh my God. I love Vernon so much.
He's the best.
Just this sweet, toit, badass grandpa.
He does still have his vest on, like his candy shop, like red and white apron, because it doubles as a flak vest. Like he always is ready to go just a little bit. So that gives him one armor.
Nice. As you walk through the woods, you notice that, the foliage here blots out quite a bit of the sky. And it's already a cloudy day, but it gets fairly dark here in the woods. And as you're stepping forward, Olivia, I'm going to spend one of the hold that I have against you.
Do it!
You're walking along, your foot steps down on something, and you just hear something snaps. And then very quickly, you are snared by your ankle and pulled up into the air by some kind of trap. And you swing around and dangle sort of in a spiral as you are pulled up like that. The rest of you hear like a bell system activate. Which sort of travels off through the forest and creates this like echoing, almost haunting kind of jingling sound that goes through.
The lobster has a security system?
Is it magic?
No, it's just bells.
Okay, just curious.
I'm going to see if I can grab the net that she's tangled up in and stop her from swinging around.
It's more just like a noose around her leg.
Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha. I'm going to grab her and say,
Well, that could have gone better. Hey, Jared, why don't you put that flaming sword of yours to good use?
I was just going to suggest that I use it.
Yeah.
I'm going to hold Olivia so that way when the rope is cut, she doesn't fall.
I can fly, so I don't have to climb up there or anything. I'll just kind of like hover like a bird does. Jared's going to saw at it instead of like cut it. Just kind of like back and forth motion with the sword.
Okay. You hear the flame of death say to you as you're like flying up, let's get down to business. Show them you're mighty. Oh, okay. So, all right. Yeah, we can just, yeah, of course. I mean, I'm not a glorified pocket knife or anything, but yeah.
You'll get your chance, dude. All right, we're probably going to stab this lobster guy, so.
That will be done. Start cutting through the rope with your sword.
While they're cutting Olivia down, can I look around and read a bad situation, perhaps?
Sure.
Sweet. I got an 8. So hold 1, and my question is, are there any dangers we haven't noticed?
You are sort of looking around this darkened woods. As the jingling continues, you note that the tone of it shifts a little bit, and it stops sounding like bells, although the sound continues. It starts to get more like a clattering, and you realize in the nick of time not to be completely thrown against a tree that the sound you're hearing now is not the bells, as they've gone completely still. But now the sound that you hear is the large plates of crustacean armor as a massive claw reaches out from the underbrush of this area towards you. A massive lobster person emerges to attack you all.
Monstrosity!
What do you do, hunters?
I think I do what my training has taught me to do in these situations, that I throw up a fucking wall of ice right between me and him.
Okay.
So, here we go. 10. So that is a 1 harm magic barrier, 1 armor, obvious loud, but it is frost, so it's 0 harm, and 3 armor.
Gotcha. You erect this ice wall, and the lobster man's claw quickly like smashes into it, but it's enough armor that it creates for you instantaneously that you do not get bowled over by his massive crusher claw.
I like raise out a wand and say something.
I kind of love the idea of all your spells having to have like mention of Mervin in them. Like he like taught you all the spells the way he would say them.
Okay, all right. Mervin's ice wall.
He just sounds sad every time he casts a spell.
Oh my goodness. The claw smashes in, but very quickly it pounds in with another claw and climbs up and over the edge of this wall. And you can now see this like large blue, glowing, slightly ethereally shape of this lobster creature with the many like extra legs reaching forward and big armored tail down the back. But then just like a pair of like jeans and like combat boots for one set of legs. All of you now can see the lobster man here to engage in a fight with you. He's going to rush it. Malcolm, again, what are you all doing?
Is Olivia down?
We can say you get cut down. You crumple to the ground at first because you are upside down. And as much as, Vernon can help you, you're still going to like have to hit earth to get out of this trap.
Can I try and talk to Lobster Man?
You could.
I just think Jared would probably try to talk to Lobster Man if they were like acquaintances enough to sneak him supplies. But I don't know Lobster Man's name, and I don't know that Jared would know Lobster Man's name. So this might immediately backfire because Jared is going to refer to him as Lobster Guy.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Lobster Guy, it's your old pal Jared. I'm here to chat with you because I think you might have made me an accomplice in murder, and I don't appreciate it. Can we chat?
Now here's my question, Jared. Do you have Dark Negotiator?
No. So, this probably won't work.
Okay. So this categorically cannot succeed.
Jared's in the game of manipulating humans, not other monsters. Just think Jared would try it.
Yeah, I think the Lobster Man takes note that you're here, but then just fully ignores you and goes for the humans. You hear kind of like a gruff grunt as it leaps down from the top of the ice wall and lands.
Oh, my knees.
Oh, my knees.
Don't humanize it, Natalie.
Listen.
It already talks.
I don't think it's a bad guy anyway.
Massive crustacean coming in, smash Malcolm into the dirt. He was doing what?
As soon as Olivia's up, she's rushing in. She's only got 1 speed, and it is the speed of her giant axe. Gonna try and kick some ass.
Sure.
Which I have a +3 to when I use my signature weapon. And that is a 10 exactly.
Okay. What's your extra effect going to be?
I think that I'm going to give 1 forward to Vernon, and it does 3 harm.
The Crush Claw will also do 3 harm.
Okay. I only take 1 of that.
Alrighty. You trade blows with your axe. This creature's big pinchy claws. You smack at an area where there's like a little overlapping plate situation with the crustacean armor and feel your axe sink in a little bit. You pull it away. You maybe block one claw from coming in to hit you, but the other one just knocks the wind out of you and bowls you over into the grass.
Vernon is going to say to Jared, "A friend of a friend of yours?" And then reach back and whip the shotgun like around its body like he's a guitarist at a rock concert and catch it in his hands in firing position and just unload on this thing. So I'm gonna also kick some ass. Oh, that's boxcars. That's double 6s.
Hell yeah!
Nice.
And I think for my extra effect, I'm also going to give +1 forward, and I'm going to give it to Malcolm since he seems to be the one that's like right there in the thick of things. And that's 3 harm.
The shotgun blast sort of riddles this thing. You hear it go,
Damn it!
It sucks, doesn't it?
it spins around and smacks you with the like big fluke of its armored lobster tail, and you'll hit a tree and kind of crumple down.
How much harm is the hit?
The tail swipe will be 3.
Okay, I also only take 1.
And you guys have all this armor reduction.
Tough group here, yeah.
Well, I have the flak jacket, but then I also, my level up that we got, I took the move from the professional, which only made sense. So I have battlefield awareness. I get like basically a +1 just from being good at fighting.
Damn. I gotta start wearing clothes in these games.
Late in the game to reveal that Jared's been naked the entire time, Lester. Malcolm, you got +1 forward.
I want to seal this monster in a bunch of ice. I think I just want to lock him up. I'm not sure if this is combat magic. I don't particularly want to do harm with it.
Well, one of the options is to trap a monster.
Yeah. So I think that's what I'm going to do. And what I do is I blow on my wand and it disperses into embers and then reforms into a large staff. Hold it before me and blow through it. Mervin's icy breath. 7 + 3, so 10.
We are killing it.
Thanks for the +1. It would have been a 9.
Okay, yeah, no glitch then. The blowing of this frosty spell at the lobster man seems to slow him down, and the ice forms on his armor and it creaks and cracks. He tries to continue to march forward towards your group, but you hear him say,
Oh, getting too old for this shit.
and at this point, Olivia, I'm gonna pull another hold on you.
Oh boy. Okay, I'm ready.
Running over to your group, not being stealthy really at all, just smashing through the ferns and grasses of this little forested island is someone, and they're calling and they're saying, "Cut it out! You're gonna kill him! Please stop!" And it's Lizzie's voice. And Vernon, the more you've heard the lobster man speaking, the more familiar his voice seems too. And Malcolm, you're very close as you cast this cold spell. You also begin to recognize the familiar and gruff grunts of another old mentor of yours and an original member of the monster hunting party that Vernon and Mervyn were part of, Leon Brandwood. And you see as Lizzie runs forward and puts a very protective stance in front of the lobster man, the armor that's encased in the ice steams for a moment and flickers and then vanishes, and what's left of the ice crashes down around in smashing bits of debris as you see your old friend Leon Brandwood, the old druid of your group, as he kind of huffs and puffs with this big man of the woods kind of beard and a little like fisherman's knit hat pulled way down up to his eyebrows, and wearing just sort of a simple gray long sleeve turtleneck and these jeans with the work boots. But on his arms, you can see these glowing glyphs of just various crustacean anatomy that seem to pulse weakly and then flare and flicker down to normal tattoos.
Leon. And then I fall backwards onto my back.
Hey, Leon?
Olivia takes staggering steps toward Lizzie and just falls on her knees in front of her and will go to wrap her arms around her.
She pulls away. Back off!
Lizzie, What are you doing here?
Hiding. Trying to stay out of the way.
Stay out of the way of what?
People like you.
I just don't understand. I came looking for you, 'cause you just up and left.
Leon gruffly clears his throat. See, he spits out a little blood and he says,
God damn it, Vern. Had to go sticking your nose in the business. You're supposed to be retired, you damn fool.
Well, once you're in this life, you're never really out of it, Leon. Seems like you know that better than any of us. You're just coming at it from the wrong side these days. What are you doing here?
I ain't never stopped. It's you that quit. I've been hunting for years, and I've seen what's happening to the world. Ugh.
and he kind of buckles over. You can see there's like little bits of spots where the shotgun blast did get through his enchanted lobster armor. And he kind of weakly takes a knee, puts a hand up, says,
I've got to get back to the hut. Help me up, girl.
and Lizzie helps her dad, because it's her dad. He drapes an arm over her. She kind of just turns away from you and your group. She says as she calls back, y'all can come rest at the hut, but walk where I walk or you'll get caught up in the traps again. And they start making their way deeper into the woods.
Hey folks. As I'm sure you've heard, this episode has been sponsored by Many Worlds Tavern, an online tea and coffee company with a delicious set of blends for you to enjoy during your game nights. I, personally, need to have my little drinks when I play a game, and Many Worlds Tavern gives you some awesome and delicious options to sip from. I particularly enjoyed their Homely House medium roast coffee, which I brew in a little stovetop mocha pot percolator, but it also makes for a very decent cold brew. In terms of teas, I was deeply impressed with Sacred Spring, which is an herbal tea with hibiscus, cinnamon, and plum. I'm not even really an herbal tea kind of guy, but something about this blend surprised and delighted me in a way that a lot of standard Earl Greys and breakfast teas just didn't. Highly recommend it. I also gotta recommend checking out their Treasured Realms series of coffees. Every month they introduce a limited amount of a new single origin coffee, and each order comes with a numbered card, a limited edition sticker, a D&D 5e magic item, and a set of dice. They only have 1,000 bags per month, so don't miss a chance to get a special coffee blend with some extra trinkets and collectibles. I honestly urge you just to check out their website and see how gorgeous everything is. There's a lot of care and personality and just beauty put into these teas and coffees, which is really cool to see, especially as someone who's been brewing and serving corporate coffee for like 2 years now. But there are plenty of other ways you can feel good about getting some coffee for game night or a little tea for the tabletop, and that's their Giving Back program. For every bag sold, Many Worlds Tavern donates $1 to support game-related nonprofits. And, of course, you'll be supporting us. As a gift from the squad to you, if you use the code Storyteller at checkout, all one word, you'll get 10% off your order. That's the code Storyteller at checkout. Many thanks to Many Worlds Tavern for the sponsorship, and many thanks to you listeners. Go get yourself something tasty for your games, and enjoy the episode.
I would like an apology from the three of you, guilting me for giving a poor lobster man supplies to survive in this cruel world.
Jared, did you know it was Leon?
No, I just thought it was a lobster guy.
Okay.
This is just a coincidence. But I didn't give supplies to someone who's eating people, so...
Good job, Jared. You've done well.
Thanks, that's all I want out of life.
Vernon goes over to Olivia.
Still kneeling.
He kind of bends over and puts a hand on her shoulder.
I know it's hard, but this is your chance for answers, so I suggest that you stow that away for now and save it for when you've got some time. Yeah?
Just shaking, stands up and makes to follow you.
Atta girl. Come on.
I follow.
And you can all follow Lizzie and Leon back to their hut, which, as you come upon it, it is a sort of simple log and moss structure built into a sort of rock overhang natural cave and then built out from. More structure than just dirt and mud, but like still made very, very rough, very survivalist kind of shelter. And you do notice as you follow Lizzie's path, there are many more of these traps that surround and go off into the surrounding parts of this island. You know, there's a little chimney with smoke, and you can kind of come inside as you see Lizzie helping her dad sit down next to the fire. And he's like already taken off his sweater to see if he can pick out the buckshot and patch himself up. And she sort of greets you and positions herself in the space such that, like, it's clear she doesn't want you to approach him. She's still very distrustful of you all. But she gestures towards a simple, rough-hewn wooden table with some chairs. You can all sit, you know, put some tea on or something, I guess.
Hey, question, Leon. If you and Vernon are old buddies, why'd you have to do that creepy porch thing to get supplies?
Vernon wanted to retire. I wasn't ready to stop. Not after what happened to...
He kind of chews the side of his cheek for a second, looking at your group. And he says,
Not after what happened to Olivia's folks. I wasn't ready to let it go.
Leon, you know that I would have helped you. What do you think I do in that establishment all night? I'm helping people. I'm sending hunters on their way. I'm giving supplies out.
You're giving them advice and a place to rest, but you're not out looking for the damn thing. That's all been me. All these years, tracking down a thing that's nearly impossible to find till it pokes its ugly head out and kills somebody else.
What do you know about the thing that got my parents?
roll manipulate someone.
7. I throw my axe down on the ground, like away from me.
Maybe just outside the hut.
Yeah, take my shotgun off, throw it out, get rid of my knife. Anything you could tell me in any way I can help.
Well, that damn thing's gonna come by probably soon, now that it's got a whiff of y'all.
He looks at you, Malcolm. He says,
You been poking around with that magic again, kid?
Well, I mean, you know, Leon, a man has to make a living, I guess.
I can smell it on you.
Well, that's because I do it. And, you know...
Not the magic. The Specter Moose.
What?
Ooh.
Specter Moose?
Thing's a damn predator. It leaves a mark. And you've been around its victims, I can tell.
Oh, yeah.
you see one of Leon's eyes has constantly got sort of a light blue, kind of ghostly look to it, similar to his lobster armor. He's been out here a while, and he's changed himself in certain ways to make his hunt more survivable. So he looks quite different than the guy you used to run with as a monster hunting boy wizard.
Leon, gosh, you shouldn't be out here doing this.
Ain't nobody else doing it.
We know people. We could have done something.
I asked. Vern thought it'd be better if you got to move on. Well, that's fine. But I ain't in the business of moving on when some of my best friends get eaten by a weird ghost. So I've been committed. I've been out here waiting for my chance.
Vernon, you see that your friend he's making some sense, but not a lot of sense. He's a little tapped at the moment. He's been really consumed by this obsessive need to go after the thing that killed Olivia's parents, who were friends of yours back in the day.
Yeah. I've got so many questions.
Yeah.
Specter Moose?
I just have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, do I know what that is?
So to fill you in, Vernon, the Specter Moose was a creature who you fought it once, and it hunts near the water. And when you fought it, the reason it's called the Specter Moose is because at a distance, the silhouette of it in its glowing white ghostly shape resembles a moose with antlers. But when it gets closer, and when you actually engage and fight this thing, it unfolds and morphs itself in weird, unnatural, and unsettling ways because its whole body is composed of arms and limbs. And, it returns to this sort of moose-like shape, but it does not remain that way when battling you.
Yeah.
And it moves unnaturally quick underwater, and it's elusive. And because it's this spectral entity, it's hard to land hits that really do a lot to it.
Yeah.
So part of the reason you gave up the search was because you fought it once, your group got real roughed up, and then it disappeared for a while. You lost track of it. And as much as Leon wanted to keep hunting it and, settle the score, as it were, there were other monsters that came up and other issues and threats to the supernatural community and people you had to help in town and just other things. And eventually it became a thing of like, well, sad chapter in our lives, but you got to move on.
The one that got away, so to speak.
Yeah, but Leon, you haven't seen him for 10 years.
I think on my notes it was like 20. I think it was 20 years.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So for 20 years, you haven't seen Leon, and it seems he's just been out there trying to find this thing. Maybe he went further north into Canada when he heard stories of it attacking people up there, and then tracked it back down here and just sort of traveled around as this wild man of the woods.
Yeah.
Leon always had an affinity for nature magic and like connecting with spirits and things. But he's been at this a while, and it has sort of warped his perception of what's like normal for monster hunters, even though that's not normal for regular people.
Leon, I understand not being able to let it go. I understand not wanting to give up, but you've been doing this for 20 years? Alone? I was hunting all that time. There are other young up-and-comers. Olivia here, she's as good as any dozen other hunters that I've worked with. I don't know what's happened to you. Those people, we found a woman who said that she had been taken and injured. Was that you?
Well, I brought her back here. Lizzie helped patch her up. We found them when the moose was going after their group. I was able to swim over fast enough to keep it from getting all of them, but then she woke up in the middle of the night and took off. I'm glad she made it back to shore. Didn't figure she would have made it across the channel, banged up as she was.
She had help.
Olivia, you notice Lizzie giving a look to you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna step outside with Olivia if you want to talk. And as she brushes past you, Vernon, she gives you sort of a shake of the head, like.
Okay.
So the two of you leave the hut, but you can keep talking to Leon, Vernon, if you want.
Well, I'm glad to know you're not the cause of those people's disappearance, but why on earth did you attack Malcolm?
Oh, I'm trying to scare you away. I know you can take it, but I don't know, Vern. I just didn't have the heart to see Olivia out here fighting the thing that took her folks. Didn't seem fair. It's not her battle. It's on us. It's on me, at least.
Well, Leon, you're a good hunter. And you are also one of the stupidest people I've ever met if you think that Olivia doesn't have claim to this thing if you know where it is. Listen, that girl needs this more than you, regardless of what you may think. But even aside from that, you thought that storming out of the woods at a wizard, a fake angel, an unbalanced woman with a battle axe, and me was a better idea than just saying, "It's me, Leon, don't shoot me." What? Dear God, man.
To be fair, I've been living in the woods for 20 years, Vern. I suppose I might be a little messed up.
Malcolm snorts. A little messed up. You almost cut me in half.
I wasn't going to crush you. I was just going to knock you on your butt a little bit. And you ain't throwing snowballs anymore, kid. Some right impressive sorcery right there.
I just looks down.
Just take the compliment, kid.
Okay, all right. Yes, thanks.
And so, Leon explains, yes, he can now kind of see, having talked to his old friends, yeah, it was pretty stupid to, come and attack you all instead of trying to, scare you with, noise and whatnot. But, he's been in hunter mode for so long, he's kind of gotten territorial, right, with all the traps and everything.
Yeah.
We'll follow Olivia and Lizzie outside. She wanders over to a break in the trees where you can see the water surrounding this place, and she sits down on a rock, kind of avoiding looking at you, but letting you follow her.
Yeah, and I cannot stop staring at her, and I want to touch her. I want to hold her hand or put my arm around her, and I keep reaching out and pulling back so confused.
You might also be doing that a bit because you can see what she's wearing. You know, it looked like a hoodie, but now that she's faced away from you, you know, and you're less in shock, you can see that this like hoodie she's wearing has the spots down the back of it. And it forms into the shape of like a seal's tail past her waist and has these like long sort of bell sleeves that cover her hands if she's not like actively got her arms up. You know, a little hood with like two big dark circles on the sides.
Lizzie, I'm so glad to see you, and my heart is breaking that you couldn't tell me any of this, and that you, I'm very grateful to see your face again and to have the opportunity to tell you how much I love you and how broken I have been since you've left.
She's turned away, but you hear her take some very ragged breaths herself, and she says,
I missed you too, Liv. So much. And even though she's turned away from you, you can tell she's crying. And she brings her arms up around herself like she's trying to physically hold herself together, even though she feels like she's breaking apart.
I rush in and I hold her so tight.
I didn't want to leave you, but I got scared.
What do you mean?
a couple of years ago, the revelation, that fight down in Jersey.
Yeah.
Daddy came and he told me he was worried people might come, I don't know, try to study me or something. You know, he's been a little messed up for a while, but I told him I was waiting for the right time to tell you about what I am, and he said he wasn't willing to take the risk, and he took my coat, Liv. She kind of pulls at the garment she's wearing.
Yeah.
And she says,
he forced me to come with him. I didn't have a choice. He gave it back after a couple days and apologized. I was angry, but he's my dad. I stayed a little longer to make sure he had enough food and was taking care of himself out here with this damn crusade he's on.
But then I came back to Vern's and you were there, and we flash back to a scene at the sit and sip and Lizzie walking in towards the back door through the porch entrance and stopping at the door to the interior sitting area where you and Vern are at the bar, and you're just hunched over the counter, sobbing, bereft. But correct me if I'm wrong here, Olivia would be also raging in this moment.
Oh, furious.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to use my last hold and take a brief phrase of agency from you, if that's okay.
Please.
Vern's talking to you, trying to calm you down, telling you not to worry. It might be okay. She might come back. Keep calling her. Keep trying to reach out. And you say something to the effect of, it's that damn monster again. I'd bet you anything. I'm going to kill all of them. Every last goddamn one of them. And her hand pulls away from the doorknob as she hears you say the thing that her dad told her to be scared of. And in tears, she turns and runs out the door, back to the water, seal cloak on, and she selkies back to the island. And we cut back to that moment. And she's kind of pulled away from the hug now as she's like recounting this. And she says, you broke my heart, Liv. I know I should have told you sooner, you know, when we were seeing each other, but it was a different world. And then the world changed. And it seemed like so did you.
I've tried real hard to let go of the mad, and I was never mad at you. I'm mad at the thing that took my parents from me, and I'm angry that you left, but... And she takes a step back again. I understand that I made you feel in a way that I would never in 1,000 years willingly make you feel. And there is no way that I can apologize enough for that. But if you will let me do something to prove to you that I didn't mean it, that wasn't me. Just a chance. You don't have to say right now. I'm sorry. I love you and I'm sorry.
I'm sorry too, Liv. I should have...
and she gets cut off by a scream out in the water. And you look out there, Olivia, and you see this young woman struggling like she's being pulled under by something and splashing about at the surface.
It's here. And I yell back to the hut, guys, it's here.
We cut back to the interior of the hut.
Vernon, you ready?
Well, I'm here, aren't I?
Yeah, just like old times.
I look at Leon.
Just like old times.
Let's finish the damn thing. I'm sick of eating roots and mushrooms.
All right.
What about you, Fancy Feathers? You still pretty much useless in a fight?
Hey, I have this beautiful big flaming sword that is good for things. And I have my normal angel people powers. You know, they're totally real.
Leon gets up, puts his sweater back on, kind of cracks his neck and his shoulder a little bit, and walks over to you, Vernon, and puts a big, wide, gnarly, calloused hand on your shoulder. And he kind of glances back at Jared and back at you, and he says,
So we'll be carrying things again because this fool brought a flaming weapon to a fight against an aquatic monster.
Did we decide whether or not the sword did magic damage or if it's just talking? Because I know it's not actually on fire, but I can't remember anything else.
I also don't recall what we had said the details were. Malcolm, do you remember?
It's always weird to me when something is not categorized as magical when it is absolutely obviously magical. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's a fucking talking sword, okay? It's magic. I don't want to ruin any kind of balance or anything like that, but fuck, it's magic.
We can say it's magic. It's maybe not magic in the way that it like adds any damage, but it's definitely magic.
Okay.
But this is magic that adds damage. Vernon,
Yes.
can I see Margaret for a second?
Be gentle with her. She's a lady.
Always, always.
Hand in the shotgun.
Taught me that a long time ago. All right. And I take out a little bag of ash and I like smudge it on the barrel of the gun. And then I like draw some runes on it and I whisper some words under my breath. The barrel starts to glow as I try to use magic to enchant a weapon.
Okay.
Yeah.
6, 2, and 2. 10.
Okay.
I have not jinxed myself. So it just gets +1 damage and magic.
Okay.
Cool.
Leon is sort of already storming out of the hut and coming over to you, Olivia. He kind of sees Lizzie, who still looks very upset, but he sees you're also visibly upset, and he kind of is just like,
You two can sort things out afterwards. Don't you come into the water, Lizzie.
and, you know, she goes to protest. She's like, but Dad, I can...
No, you stay here.
And he looks over at you, Olivia, sees the weapon you got brandished, and he says,
You're not gonna be much use in the water with that thing.
the tattoos on his arms and his forearms start to glow with that spectral blue, and one of them is covered instantly by the like giant lobster armor, the rest of it starting to segment and grow down his back, and he reaches out with a blue hand gesturing for your axe.
I turn it so as for him to grab the haft.
He grabs the handle of it. It pulses blue for a moment, and like a little sigil of a crab kind of appears on the blade.
Ooh.
And climbing up your arm and sort of forming this like one arm of protection is more of this spectral blue crustacean armor.
Dope.
So you'll get another armor on top of what you've got.
Whoa.
Damn.
Thanks, Leon.
The big crusher claw forms around his hand as he pulls it away, and the big lobster visage is starting to come down over his face. And he says,
Let's settle things for your mom and pa.
lobster antenna whip forward as he just starts taking off towards the water.
Yeah!
Sick.
Dun-dun-dun.
What a badass.
I love it.
I ride my magic carpet square.
Vern, how are you gonna get into the water and start fighting with this thing? Or are you gonna wait and see if your friends can drag it up onto the land?
I guess I'm just gonna wait. If they can get it like above the surface at all, I have a firearm, so as long as it's reasonably close, I'll just take shots at it.
Sure. You can all see now this like floundering person in the water.
I'll go in so as to save this floundering person.
Okay, you dive into the water. You find yourself incredibly agile in the water, more so than you would have been normally.
Yeah.
Can I give Olivia air support because Jared cannot go in the water?
You can fly out with her.
Cool, then I will do that.
Yeah, I fly out over the water as well.
Yep.
I stand impotently on the shore.
I could pick you up by your armpits, dangle you out over the ocean.
No, thank you.
Lizzie will stand with you.
Do you have magic, Jared?
I mean, I have 3 weird, but I don't think it's like, I don't know, are you allowed to just be like, I cast magic?
So here's the thing, Jared. We haven't really talked much about, why you are what you are. Do we want to say that this is the moment where you get serious and stop, futzing around with your angel appearance to actually, be in a fight?
Yeah, probably, because you can't be a TikTok influencer if you're dead.
That's true.
Can that please be the tagline for this episode?
So I think as everyone's either diving into the water or running out or flying out on their patch of carpeting, you're waiting on the shore, Vernon, and Leon is walking up behind you and sort of passing you and Lizzie as she sits there wringing her hands in worry over everybody. And we see Jared as you step forward, you're sort of older, mid-40s with the scruffy, unshaven look and the sort of floppy mess of hair and the off-white wings, is coming forward, brandishing the flaming sword. Your form starts to get hazy and cracks appear in this visage you wear almost constantly, revealing just a flickering, shifting darkness. And the face sort of disappears into just more of this dark mass shape. The wings become blackened as a pair of giant red eyes form at the top of the head, and large black wisping antenna shapes. More of this flickering black static extend out from your scalp. Because Jared is a Mothman cryptid.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
So sick.
And because we already have a moth cryptid creature on the show, who listeners of the Storyteller Squad will know as the Moth Girl, Coraline Duskheart, moth cryptids are just very good at illusion magic.
It's true.
So that is the type of magic you really have the ability to wield effectively at your disposal. So you take off into the sky, this screeching black flickering mass.
Nightmare creature.
With my flaming sword.
Yeah.
I love it.
Have we seen this before? Do at least Vernon and I know that this is Jared?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. They keep up the I'm an angel facade in front of you because you just always got to be on.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. You can't turn it off.
But you all know that's not true.
Yeah.
Did we say Jared was they, them?
Yeah, I guess in my head I was like, Mothman, that is the name. But it would be a moth person, I guess, huh?
Yeah, moth person. Let's say that.
Yeah.
Moth person. This is great. We have 2 trans moth characters on our show now. You will never see a Mothman on the Storyteller Squad. This is my promise to the listeners.
Perfection.
Shouting over the rushing wind as we fly forward. Can you distract it?
If it comes above the water, yeah, probably.
All right. Great. Useful as always. Thank you, Jared.
I'm sorry that I can't do anything with the fucking ocean, baby boy wizard.
If Olivia makes it out there, start kind of treading water to see where it went.
I mean, you're faster in the water than Leon is.
Whoa.
Because now that you've been imbued a bit with his crustacean druidic magic, you're much younger and more fit and didn't get hit with a shotgun blast earlier today. So you speed forward, even though he's more in this, lobster armor. You get the sense that it's still him. He still has to do the swimming, and maybe it helps him a little bit, but
Sure. Dope.
so yeah, you can jet forward towards this person. As you get closer, you see that, she is sort of glowing slightly spectrally in the water with this white glow. And are you coming at her above the water or below? Are you at the surface or a little bit under?
Probably faster to be a little bit under,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
That's a thing.
Right.
So, yeah, I'll be just under the surface.
So then the view you get is of this girl in sort of a white dress, kicking and floundering in the waves, sometimes dipping below, but then sort of rising up again. And the strange thing you see is that one leg, as it dips down into the water, just gets longer and longer and longer. And as you get close enough, rising up out of the depths of the water, these white arms extend on these like massive merging of a bunch of arms like a moose's antler, just rise up in 2 sets and start to close like a Venus flytrap towards you in the water.
I'll take a swing at it while I'm down here.
Okay, roll kick some ass.
That is an 11.
Woo! What you doing?
I'm going to move it where I want it. And where I want it is closer to the shore.
Okay. It comes at you and tries to grab at you with these many white spectral arms, and you swing this blue enchanted axe with the shellfish arm and definitely slice through the things that are right up about to grab you. And they sort of dissipate under the water like ink in a glass. And so, having defended yourself from this attack the way most people wouldn't be able to, more arms start to reach forward, and they sort of split into more as they reach and come and try to surround you. And you can see these antlers. Now the head of the spectral moose is rising from the water, much larger than a normal moose, maybe 3 feet across, like wide. Just this massive creature coming up from below.
Jeez Louise.
With your speed in the water, you're able to just sort of jet away, forcing it to keep raising its head. And as the rest of you are approaching, you see Olivia surfaces, and the like floundering girl lifts up out of the water by that one stretched out leg and sort of dangles from one of the horns as the entire spectral moose rises up with these haunting will-o-wisps of red in the eyes. And again, the body just sort of made of a bunch of different... Yeah, sorry. It's very body horror.
Yeah, no, it's great. I didn't think anglerfish could be more terrifying, and yet here we are.
It's just an anglerfish moose made of people.
Yes. Fuck.
There are some things that you never think that you're going to hear people say.
Yeah.
And then they say them, and then suddenly you add it to the list of things you wish that you'd never heard people say.
Yep.
So first of all, gross. Second of all, if it's above the water, Vernon's taking a shot.
Go for it. Yeah, no, it opens its huge mouth, which again is sort of like dangling feet and like hands to make the teeth of it, but they're reaching forward to sort of just swallow up Olivia as she starts to swim back towards the rest of you. Roll kick some ass.
All right, I'm going to kick its ass. 11. We are killing it tonight, you guys.
Man.
Wow, hell yeah.
So the magic, is that a +1 to the harm? So that is 4 harm.
Holy
Whoa.
smokes.
That's right. And for my extra effect, I think I'm going to give +1 forward to Jared, actually, this time.
Oh.
Okay,
Yeah, let's do something with that.
cool.
Okay.
The Specter Moose, as you blast this enchanted shot from your shotgun at it, each little speck of the shotgun shell, as it flies out, takes on this like streaking comet-like appearance. And because it's a spread effect, it just peppers this monster as it rises from the water. And each little thing, as it pierces through, seems to take a portion of the moose with it. And you hear a shriek as it is ripped away. And you notice that, like, because of this shot, and even when Olivia wiped at it with her axe, it shrinks a little in the water and then has to, like, swim its way more to the surface now. Like, it can't stand at the surface of the water. But it is making its way towards your group. Jared, you're up.
I want to cast a kind of illusion magic to keep it like distracted and up on the surface.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe even like kind of dazzle it. Something to make its visual field busy enough that it's not 100% sure what's going on.
I like that. Go for it.
Got a 6. I got a 6.
Woohoo.
I have a +3 weird, and then I have that +1 going forward. So
Whoa.
I got a 16.
Wait, 16 total?
Yeah, because I got boxcars, and then I have the +3, and then I had a +1. Yeah.
You got 12 and then 3 and then, wow. Oh, that's awesome.
It explodes.
Yeah, for real.
Insane.
I wasn't expecting that because normally I don't do so good.
Yeah, wow. It's amazing what you can do when you're not spending most of your magical energy trying to appear as a celestial.
Wow.
Jared is competent. He just refuses to be competent at the things he should be.
There's just so much potential in you, and it's all wasted on this Robert Downey visage you're always trying to push on people. Or who we say, like Kevin Bacon was how you looked?
It was something like, it was Kevin Bacon or Tony Danza, something like that.
That's so funny. Wow, 16. I feel like some of my players have hit 16, but that has not happened in a while. Holy cow.
Unreal.
Isn't there a rule that if you get a 16, you get an advanced move for free on that roll?
There should
Is that how it
be.
works?
That doesn't sound real.
I mean, with Use Magic, it's just you get a bonus thing, and I'm absolutely going to give you a bunch of stuff for this. Why don't you describe? So you want it to be like a hypnotic pattern, like a colorful sort of just like distracting thing?
Yeah, like Jared just shoved this spectral moose into the world's busiest rave.
Okay, you're flying forward with the flaming sword, but again, it's for show mostly. So you then draw on the actual thing you're good at, which is illusions. And as the spectral moose reaches forward with its chomping antlers, because again, this thing is weirdly horrific in its anatomy, it actually does chomp onto Jared's form, and you all are like, oh my gosh. But then another Jared appears right in the space that it occupied as it opens the horn maw. And another Jared appears, and another, and another, and another, and you basically copy yourself. Hundreds of images of you surround this thing, and all of them hold up the flaming sword, which shines and refracts off each other to create this sort of like blinding, dazzling sparkle around this thing as it sort of glances about, not sure which one is the real you in order to attack.
Oh, yeah.
The bonus I will give you is that this fully, I'm not even going to roll for him. This just sets Leon up to do this massive leap out of the water with his huge lobster claws and just tear into this thing for a couple swipes. So he will do a bunch of harm
Hell yeah.
and is sort of protected by the blinding nature of this illusion that you've cast. So the moose can't even react to come after him.
Hell yeah.
Amazing.
Fuck that moose.
And as he is ripping and tearing away, Malcolm, since you're on the carpet square, sort of zipping about above the water, observing all of this, you see as Leon reaches into the moose and rips portions of it away with his claws, that actually what flies away is the form of the like spirit of the diver that you saw dead under the water. And they just sort of and vanish into the air.
Something clicks with me, and I think I switch up the spell that I was gearing up for as I watch this happen, and I think I'm gonna try and banish some spirits.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hey.
Just like shunt them back to where they should be. Wherever they belong, it ain't here.
Certainly not within a moose.
Yeah, I want to try and sever their connection to this reality.
Okay.
I turn my staff the other way so that the head is pointing downwards, and I say a couple words, and I like launch the staff down, and a like arc of magical fire forms around it like a giant cutting device. Whew. It's just big scissors.
Incredible.
11, 13 total.
Perfect.
And that is banish a spirit or curse from the person, object, or place it inhabits.
Yeah, this large spectral scissoring, like, not the verb I wanted.
That was for the lesbians that listen, right?
That's for the lesbians.
That's right. Hell yeah, it is.
Lizzie on the shore blushes. Shears. We'll call them shears.
Shearing. Yeah.
Mervin's magnificent shears.
Yes!
It cuts into the spectral moose, almost bisecting it, and several more of these spirits just sort of escape outwards. These spirits are severed. Their connection, or perhaps where they were trapped within the specter moose, is broken, and many of them escape. And in the moment, as you're like focusing, holding the magic, you actually hear in your mind 2 voices. And they say,
Good job, sport. Proud of you, Malcolm.
and you have very few memories of your own parents, Malcolm. But that hits something deep within you as a couple of spirits are released. Now, this has done so much structural damage to this ghost soul trap creature that it now shrinks. Like one side of it completely just disperses as the ghosts are released. But the other half of it, in a mangled form, reshapes itself as best it can into now what is more just sort of a very large moose. Still big, but not monstrously large compared to like a natural thing. But you see that that small girl who was sort of just dangling off one of the antlers now is retreated and pulled back and centered into the back of the moose with long arms that sort of drape down at the side. And so now she reaches forward and claws at whoever is closest. And probably it's going to reach for you, Malcolm, because that actually makes sense. You did a fuck ton of damage to it. It's going to try and drag you under the water and maybe retreat if it catches you. So what are people doing?
Ooh. I'm gonna use my unholy strength to use my holy sword to stab it.
Maybe you should use the sword to slowly saw at its long arms until they're severed.
Wow.
Yeah, okay, sure, I'll do that. That's exactly what Jared's gonna do.
No.
I got a 9. The sword does 3 harm.
You can certainly swoop in and slice off one arm as it goes to reach for Malcolm. You hear Flame of Death call out,
Yeah, let's get him, partner.
if this sword could chew tobacco and spit, it would.
Wow.
Can I try to blow the other arm off at the shoulder as it's reaching?
Please, yeah. Why don't you roll protect someone here? Because this is your little boy wizard buddy.
Guys, we are that's 2 5s.
Wow.
So that's 12.
Amazing.
Don't question it.
The dice know it's a one shot and it's running long. They're helping us out.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So what is your bonus on protect someone you're going to do?
Let's just inflict harm on the enemy. I'm shooting it. That makes sense.
Yeah, you're able to do the shotgun blast. It blows off the arm.
This poor moose.
And this thing is barely holding together a moose-like shape at this point. Olivia, you can now start to hear sort of this shrieking wail coming from the young woman at the center of this thing, but intermixed with it are the cries of other victims. And you start to hear a couple familiar voices within the chorus of souls still trapped within this thing.
I'm going to swim over and I want to try and plant my axe in the heart of that young woman.
Go for it. You certainly protect Malcolm fine. The arms are not able to reach and grab at him. And this thing is still now treading water.
That's a 14.
Good God.
Jeez Louise.
Damn.
I don't know what is happening, but I love it.
Okay, well, this is Olivia's moment. You throw your axe, well, not throw, you swing your axe down, having leapt out of the water like a porpoise, like a breaching thresher shark. You just kind of jump out of the water with this axe like it takes no effort at all and swing down, throttling this monster in the chest. I think you're able to fully cut this girl free from the rest of like the moose that it's still trying to maintain the shape of. And as you do, she falls into the water and your parents' ghosts are released from what remains of the Specter moose. They pause in the moment as you're like time frozen, swinging the rest of the way with your axe. And they just kind of come around you and give you a hug.
Oh, the little 12-year-old in Olivia's heart is just so full.
Mm-hmm. Your dad's voice whispers to you and he says,
You're stronger than that anger. You can beat it.
and your mom says to you, life is long, Olivia. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. Go get her. And they are released. The fight seems to lose a bit of the energy it had, but you still see that glowing shape under the water, sort of drifting away from you and then seeming to like increase speed away from your group, like it's trying to retreat. What do you all do?
Well, that can't happen.
My staff was already going down there. I was going to try to attempt to use it to capture it.
Well, had you like thrown your staff away in order to cast the last spell?
Yeah, it went down. It was the blade.
I think you're gonna have to retrieve it before you're able to do anything else with it. I don't know that it's like a flow wand where you can just kind of stand up there doing whatever with it.
Fair enough. No problem.
Are mooses like horses, where if they just think it looks like they're enclosed, they'll treat themselves as being in a cage?
I have no idea, but the Specter moose is way more Specter now than moose. You've removed so many souls from this thing that now it's just seemed to be the shape of the young woman who like fell to the water and was now like fleeing your group.
On the beach, I'm standing next to Lizzie. As things kind of start dying down, Vernon, he's done this before. He kind of sees the writing on the wall and has sort of lowered the shotgun. And then as the thing starts to sort of pull away in the water, I say, sort of to no one in particular,
Boy, it sure would be a shame if that thing got away and all our hard work was for nothing. If only somebody could swim out after it, maybe stop that from happening.
And then I kind of like turn my head and kind of look at Lizzie and give her a smile.
I miss you, Vern.
It's you too, kid. Off you go.
She pulls her seal hood up and runs towards the water, leaps in, and a little spotted seal jets out into the water and pulls up alongside you, Olivia.
Ugh, I can't even. My heart is so full. Got to hear the voice of my parents. Lizzie swimming alongside me in her true self. Let's get this thing.
Once she actually pulls up to you, the seal itself does a little underwater somersault, and she unfolds into her human self wearing the like silky coat, and she says to you, "We gotta catch it. Hang on." And she'll offer like her hand, even though it's within like the coat and it's all like floppy, extra long sleeve kind of deal.
Yeah, for sure. I'll take her hand and then slide my hand up so I'm holding like at her shoulder, because I feel like that will affect her mobility less.
Sure. You feel her hand grasp around yours, and then the two of you just speed away. And she's just as fast in like her human form as she was as a seal, her little coat giving her like magical swimming speed. And Leon, who is like still in his lobster armor, but he's kind of like huffing and puffing to keep up. He's like, "Lizzie!" Like trying to keep up, but he just can't because he's old and he's been at this too long.
Let her go, Leon. It's time.
The two of you speed away after this spectral girl. You follow it to this little alcove near the shore where it gets to like the shallow water where the tide is starting to like rise again in this place. Kind of crawls out onto the beach. Again, just the like one spirit ghost now at this point, and starts to like flounder in the shallows as if it can't make it back onto the land. Begins to sort of enact that like I'm drowning pantomime again. Even though if they could just stand up, they'd be fine.
Yeah.
And you and Lizzie can like get to the shore and sort of stand amongst the shallow water there.
I look to Lizzie and say, have you seen it do this before? This close to land? Is it trying to play us?
I've never seen it this small.
Can I go over to it and try and haul it up out of the water?
Sure. Why don't you protect someone?
Okay. Only a +2 to that one. Oh, I'm going to use luck.
Yeah, probably good to use the luck here.
Yeah. Feels narratively important.
You go over and start to pull this thing out of the water. And Lizzie sees what you're doing, and she'll come over and also help pick this ghost up and drag them up out of the surf onto the beach. And they cough a bunch or act as if they're like retching up seawater and just sort of sit there for a moment, their chest rising and falling as they're taking these deep breaths, even though there's no actual air happening or moving because of it. And they slowly just sort of sit up. They're like long, white, ghostly hair, still flowing, but hanging in front of their face. And this young woman like wraps her arms around her knees as she sort of pulls them in close to her chest.
Did Jared follow us out? Is he still flying up above?
Did you follow him, Jared?
Yes.
So you can land as the moth creature.
Be very dramatic.
Mm-hmm.
Make little screech moth creature noise to land next to it.
Do we finish it off? Do we need to release it somehow? What should we do?
We released all the other spirits that were part of it, right?
You did.
Is there any reason to think we have to kill this one sad girl when we didn't have to kill all the other ones? Where's Malcolm at?
He's in the water up to his shoulder looking for his staff.
I'm trying real hard to summon it.
Malcolm could try to like exercise it or something. Maybe with like my assistance. The thing I'm good at is illusion magic, which is not the most helpful at this moment.
Malcolm flies up. He's soaking wet, and he looks grouchy about it. And he has his staff in his hands. It's become a little wand again. He lands.
At this point, I don't know what to do. Do we just end it?
I mean, we're not going to just let it still kill people. That'd be bad.
We say Vernon sort of like old man runs up at this point.
Vernon is back on the island. This is like on the shoreline. So I feel like maybe Vernon, you'll get a moment with Leon as he like retreats back to the island.
Yeah, I watch them all swim away then and fly off, and I just kind of sit down
Yeah.
and just wait. They can handle it.
Y'all have been doing this much longer than I have. I just don't know.
Malcolm, I'll lend you some magical power. I think you're going to have to take this one.
Do I know about spirits like this? Have I ever read anything about this or seen anything like this? Or
I mean, you know about ghosts. You know that they're generally corrupted, malicious versions of someone's spirit who get trapped in a place because of a very tragic event.
I would like to communicate with something that I do not share a language with.
Okay.
I'm gonna channel some magic towards him for a help out.
All right.
I got a 6.
Well, I got a 10 on help out.
So I get a 7.
Take a glitch, or you could use luck to have no glitch.
I think a glitch is fine.
Okay.
Just because it's fun. It has a problematic side effect.
I think the problematic side effect, Malcolm, is you're going to get a little close to this in a way that is not going to be great for you. You go to try and communicate with this spirit and hold your wand out. And in a similar way to the last vision you had, your eyes roll back as this ghostly young lady looks up at you, her eyes sort of hollow and staring. Basically, you get a very vivid memory of this young woman named Adelaide Thatch, just out swimming, collecting polished glass and shells at the beach here, and losing track of time, the water rushing in very suddenly and quickly and dragging her out and being unable to make it. And you kind of firsthand experience the process of drowning the way she did.
Oh God, that's okay. Horrifying.
Yeah, so you are rocked psychically by this connection you forged, but the memory changes and sort of starts to flicker between two. One where you descend into the water, and then this anger rises in you of, no one came to save me. Why didn't anyone come to save me? Someone should have come to save me. And you sort of experience or understand the process of how this ghost came to be and why the lure was always save me, save me, save me, but then pulling the next person down as well and sort of accumulating all these trapped souls. The change, however, happens when just a few moments ago, when this spirit was floundering in the shallows because it was barred from hitting the land again in its current state, where Olivia and Lizzie brought it out onto the land. And in that moment, that anger, something within them was released and taken away. And now, as you return, shaky on your feet, but you see the ghost girl just staring at you, and then it glances at Olivia and Lizzie, sort of fades away, and you just get a sorry as it vanishes and is released. Vernon.
Yes.
You're back on the beach, having a sit, and your friend Leon comes traipsing up out of the water, his lobster armor beginning to flicker and fall off in pieces and shatter into blue sparkles and just vanish in the water. And he kind of just slumps down on the sand next to you, still holding a couple spots where he got hit by the axe or where, a couple of your shots hit him in the shoulder. And he just says,
I've been a fool, Vern. A damn fool.
Yeah, go on.
Don't go rubbing salt in the wound. I already got seawater in it.
I'm glad you're all right. Sorry about shooting you. Wasn't very friendly of me, was it?
People like us don't tend to be very friendly people. But I can tell you're getting way better at it than me.
Well, it's amazing what retirement will do for you if you let it.
I think maybe I'd like to try that out.
Is that so? Well, I'll give you a few pointers on the way to the hospital tonight, all right?
Sounds good.
How long do you think before they come back and get us?
He says,
Oh, I got a speedboat in an alcove. We can take over. Maybe once I'm patched up, I'll swing by for a sit and sip. I'll come through the front door this time.
I'd like that, Leon. I'll save a seat for you.
and we maybe see you two shake hands, help each other up, go get off the island using his boat or whatever other means you want to do. Jared, Malcolm, what are you guys up to now that the ghost is done?
Jared is back in their angel form. They've pulled out their cell phone and they are trying to get the perfect shot of them with their wings backlit by the setting sun. For, the gram.
Sure. Love that.
Perfection.
Malcolm?
I think Malcolm gets a text message from Mervyn.
Okay.
It's something stupid and trivial, and he looks at it. And then I think he just responds, "I quit," and then tosses his phone into the ocean.
Yeah! Malcolm learned the power of self-respect.
Well, his parents, he didn't know that was bothering him, I don't think. He didn't know that he had any hangups with that. But he's literally never had anybody that was like, Vernon was kind to him like that in a way, and that's why he likes Vernon and tries to help Vernon out at, the shop and everything. But something about that, I think he's just kind of done being somebody else's person. And so now he's Malcolm the Marvelous.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
He forgets that he actually has to go get all of his shit from Mervyn, so he shows up there later and he's like, fuck, sorry. And he goes and gets all his stuff out, puts it in a bag of holding.
When you are there, Mervyn is all up in your face and giving you a hard time of yeah, sure, go ahead and quit. You'll never make it out there in the real world. You got no talent. What I was saying for all these years. Go ahead and quit. You're such a quitter. Right, going on and on and on. And you turn to him and you just cast one spell in his direction. And it's only slightly different than how you would normally cast this spell. It is Malcolm's Marvelous Silence.
Yes.
And Mervyn is too old to even notice. And he just keeps ranting and raving in silence,
I love it.
I think Lizzie is there just standing in the shallows as the tide's starting to rise. So you're going to have to get out of here quickly, but she's taking a moment.
Yeah. You don't owe me anything, but I would really love it if I could take you for a drink. Maybe start over. A little more straightforward this time.
Lizzie looks to you, the last of the sun dipping below the horizon at this point. It kind of catches, amongst her wet hair and her big eyes. She says, I think we both could do better if we gave it a second chance.
Olivia gives just the biggest smile and squeezes her hand a little bit and says, okay, I'll be at Vernon's when you're ready.
I'll see you there. And she will squeeze your hand back and give you a little kiss on your cheek. And then she pulls her hood up again and dives into the water. And that's where we'll end our session.
Mm.
Yay.
There's always hope for love.
That's our adventure. Thank you guys for playing.
Amazing.
Huzzah.
That was a lot of fun.
I want to play with all these people again.
The force with which I was clenching my jaw to stop from singing Kiss the Girl every time Liz and Olivia started talking
Oh, man. Where can people find you guys on the internets?
You can find us at namelessmonsters.podbean.com. We are also at namelessmon_pod at Twitter. And we would love for you to come and check us out. We don't have the massive backlog that some other podcasts do. So you can catch up with us real quick.
And if you're a Nameless Monster fan here listening to a crossover episode and you've caught up because they don't have such a big backlog, you can always check out the Storyteller Squad.
So much material for you.
Where we will have more lesbians and old men fighting monsters and amazing trans cryptids. So come check us out.
Everything you want in a podcast. Natalie, thank you for this. This was such a delight.
Yeah, for real, this was a blast.
Yeah, this is fun.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was really fun.
Thank you for playing. I had a really good time. This is a fun mystery to run. I hope literally one person in the world gets the Leon the Lobster reference. That's just for me otherwise, and that's okay.
What's it from?
Leon the Lobster is a lobster that this guy named Brady Brandwood, shout out to Brady if you ever end up listening to this, he rescued a lobster from the grocery store, and he's been taking care of it for like 2.5 years, and he uploads videos about Leon.
Oh, I think I've heard of this before.
I know this guy.
Yeah, he just does little documentary videos about his pet lobster now. It's really cute.
Anyway, thanks for joining us, everyone. We will see you soon in the next episode. Take care, adventurers.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.